have you here. We'll go ahead with this one. And we'll pin that. Okay. Well, in my part of the world, it's the 20th. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, is that Jesus and Whatnot is a LARPer. Whatever. Not very familiar with him anyway, so doesn't really mean much to me. I mean, I'm not surprised that there are people out there LARPing. We see it a lot. But I'm hoping that we can have some decent conversations this evening. That's always the goal. If you are 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief, feel free to request up, and I'd be happy to debate. Now, let's hope we can start it off strong. Hi, Oliver. How old are you? Okay, fair enough. Anytime, Harv, anytime. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Jesus and Whatnot. I don't know what his deal is or whatever. The most I know about him is before today, I heard people saying, hey, you should debate this person, and that was all I knew. And then today I was hearing stuff about him debating Parker and how it was obvious that he was LARPing and how bad the argument was and all that stuff. But I don't really know a lot of details. But okay, so we're gonna do a bit of yapping before people come in. Okay, so after stream last night, oh yeah, fair red. So after stream last night, I was reading that Amy Karofsky book, A Case for Necessitarianism, and she was going through like what she calls contingentarian views that there are existing contingencies, and showing some issues with them. Hey, thanks for the hat and mustache, Bootman Jones, and for the support, everybody. Thank you for the other support, Bootman Jones, as well, and thank you, Ashley and Lou. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, Alan Gibson, as well. Thanks for sharing it. Really appreciate you guys sharing the live. Bootman Jones and Lou and everybody else who's doing that. Thank you for the taps. Appreciate that as well. Definitely helps with the algorithm and stuff. But yeah, so I was reading A Case for Necessitarianism last night, and Karofsky gives this amazing argument that supports the fact that supports the position that there cannot be brute contingencies. And that was a thing where it's always been like kind of intuitive to me that there couldn't be brute contingencies, but I didn't have an argument for it, so I never like really wanted to commit to that position. But she gives this fantastic argument. Hey, thanks, Casey. I'm basically Agamemnon now. But she gives this fantastic argument. And I don't know if I want to like get too super in depth with it, but basically the idea is that if a thing, if some entity exists and it's brute, then that means that they're, by very nature of being brute, that means that it doesn't have a further reason, explanation, or grounding for what it is or the way that it is, right? That's what it means for a thing to be brute. There's no structure or explanation for why it exists or why it is what it is. So because there isn't a structure that can a contingency, or excuse me, a brute thing can rely on to be what it is, then there also isn't a structure to give it to ground the possibility that it could be different than it is. And so if there is no structure that can ground the possibility of it being different, then there just is no possibility that it could be different than it is. So what that means is that if a brute thing exists, it has to be necessary. So I just thought that was a really interesting argument. Yeah, I mean, it's a little more technical than that, but I think that it works really well. Is that? Yeah, okay. But yeah, basically any brute thing has to be necessary. It cannot possibly be contingent, and I think that's like thanks, Dipster. And that's, like I said, something that kind of seems intuitive, but I'd never actually seen like good support for it. So it was really interesting to read that. And then there is, in the actual formalized argument for that position, there is a weak premise, or what looks like a weak premise. I initially thought it was a weak premise, and then I realized after a conversation with some other folks that Karofsky actually supports that premise earlier in the same chapter, and I had just kind of missed the connection. And so after going back and looking at that, realizing that that wasn't a weak premise, this to me is a very strong argument for the impossibility of brute contingencies, which I think is really interesting. And obviously, if you're like, you know, thinking about a necessitarian position, you would have to know that there can't be brute contingencies. And now I feel confident in that position that, in fact, there cannot be brute contingencies. Typically, I would say the definition of God is an ultimate immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe. Oh, thanks to Catholic Thinker. That's awesome. Yeah, not only does it like not make sense, like just on its face, a brute contingency seems weird, but then when you realize, like looking into the logic, that it's not even possible, I just thought that was really interesting. Early. Oh, I don't know if it's early, Pokey. I mean, this is kind of like the time that I've been. Oh, I guess it's kind of early. But yeah, thank you very much for being here, folks, and for supporting. Hopefully we'll get some actual debates tonight. Last night was kind of rough, but hopefully we'll get some folks up tonight who want to actually have the debate. In the meantime, thank you very much for, hey, Obelisk, glad to see you. Thank you, everybody supporting. Thank you to Pokekarumi and Nobody on Fire. And you're 100% right, Poopman Jones. I just cannot wait to see you. You got that totally right. Thank you to Yana, and again, Nobody on Fire, and Lem. Thank you, Lou, and Dipster. Thank you, Fen, and, well, Dipster again, and KC, thank you so much. And Saintly, and Oppo, and KC, and Poopman Jones, and Dipster, like everybody. Pokegarumi again. Thank you guys so much for the support. Genuinely appreciate it. Yeah, I wasn't able to hang out very long, CT, unfortunately, because typically when you're going live is while I'm at work, and then I'm driving home, and then I'm doing this. So yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch For Your Life for very long, but I'm glad that you're doing that. But yeah. Thanks, Racy Stacy. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some folks up who want to debate. If you are 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God, feel free to request up. I'd be happy to have the debate. Obviously, my position is that there is no justification to believe in a God, but hey, maybe you can convince me that I'm wrong, right? That would be the goal, is to learn something new. Thanks, Unfathomable. Appreciate you. Or Alexandra. Doing well, Austin. Thank you. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get some folks up here who actually want to have the debate. That is always the goal. As it says above my head, my position is that God is not real. So wanted to debate that. That's always the goal. Oh shit. We're over 6,800. That's fucking awesome. We're going to be at 7,000 in no time. Thanks everybody for the support in that way as well. Well, we've got over 250 people in here. Hopefully there are some folks who believe in a God and have the courage to request up and have the debate about it. The guest queue is currently open. I will bring up the people who request, as long as you're 18 plus and actually have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Thanks, HopCount. In the meantime, I'll let you guys know that I do have a YouTube if you're so inclined to go follow over there. I'd like to do more there. Well, thanks, Lever. I'd like to do more over there, but I need more followers, so I appreciate everybody who's willing to follow over there. And then also I do have a Discord where you can come join as well. But yeah, if you are 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God, feel free to request. I would be happy to talk. It seems like there are people in the in the chat who think God is real. But I'm not seeing the requests. The guest box is open, and I'd be happy to debate with you. I don't know anything about Satan worship, so I can't tell you much about that. Okay. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God. Hi, Sales. How old are you?
I'm 21.
And what God do you believe in?
I'm agnostic. I just believe there is a God, not a specific one.
Oh, you mean
I'm
like you're a
agnostic
theist?
theist. Yeah, I'm an agnostic theist. Yeah.
Okay. And then what would you say is the best reason to believe in a god?
I think the overall creation of not only the Earth, but just the species we know as on Earth. I probably represent more with the ideals that God created everything and then took a step back. But when it comes to just the creation of Earth, the chances of it that we know of are so it's not even a percent that you can marginalize,
Well,
which
why
I
should
feel
we
like
think that
has
it's
to have.
created?
Yeah, so I just believe that. I mean, I just believe that is some sort of creation due to the fact that we have knowledge of all other solar systems and planets outside of our solar system, meaning that there's multitude of creations, and depending on what you
Well, no,
believe.
you're just assuming that the things are created. I'm asking for the justification to think that planets are created and don't just form as a result of natural processes.
Yeah, so I think there has to be some to create a physical being. I think there has to be something that creates it. I don't think a
Yeah,
physical thing
that's the
can come
claim
from nothing.
again. That's the claim again. I don't need you to make the claim again. I already am aware of the claim. I'm asking now for the support for the claim.
And in what way? Are you asking for like a philosophical ideals of my support, or what
I don't know.
specifically?
Whatever you think makes it true that that the earth was created and that physical things have to be created.
Yeah, so we can talk about this. There cannot be movement without something that was non-moving
Okay,
to
so now you're
push in a
talking
way
about,
to make it movement, meaning the solar system is moving,
well,
something
that's
had
not
to
true.
force it to
That's not
move.
true at all. I mean,
Are you a planet?
nothing has to like push it. Gravity makes things move. Even if you have two objects in space that are completely stationary relative to each other, because of the existence of gravity, they will begin moving. So there
Is
doesn't
there
have to be.
gravity in space?
Yes.
You think there's gravity in space? Have you been to
Obviously, there's
space?
gravity in space. Do you not know
I
what gravity
disagree.
is?
I know gravity is. I disagree completely with the claim that there is a form of gravity in space.
Okay,
I
so
don't
what's the
agree with the
argument for
claim of
that?
that. Yeah, I don't think there is a ideal of gravity because gravity to you can say with ours and then a lack of gravity in places such as the moon. The lack
No,
of
there's not a
gravity would
lack of
mean there is
gravity
some
on the
sort.
moon.
There is a lack
Gravity
of gravity.
gravity works the
There's less
same
gravity.
everywhere. No,
Yeah, but it's a
there's
less
not
amount
less
of gravity.
gravity, Sales. There's not less gravity, there's less mass, so the gravitational pull is weaker, but there isn't less
That's what
gravity.
I'm saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's
then you
that's what I'm
just don't
saying.
understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, so there's nothing in space, meaning there's less mass in space.
Right, there's less
With
mass, but
that
there's not
same
less
logic, it would
gravity.
be no
So what
gravity
No,
to
that
then
doesn't that's not
repel
what that
something.
means. That's not what that means at
That's
all.
literally what it
No,
means.
isn't. Okay, so you just don't know what gravity is, and you don't know how space works. So do you actually have any reason to believe what you believe, or is it just like ignorance all the way down?
How is it ignorance?
Well,
Can you
because you
define
clearly don't
ignorance?
know what space is, and you don't know what
Can you
gravity
define
is, and you don't know how gravity works, and you don't know how planets form, and you're just making all these claims with no
You don't know how
foundation, no
planets
basis.
form.
Yeah,
You
I
don't know how
do.
planets form.
Do you know what an accretion disk is?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Explain.
exactly. Yes, that's how planets form, is accretion disks. You try to say
Okay,
that
so
I
what
don't
made the
know, but I
accretion
do.
disk? What made the accretion disk?
It's just nothing. Nothing made it. There's no reason
Nothing
to
made
think
it.
that
It just
anything
popped
made
out
it.
of nowhere.
Nope,
It
I
just
didn't
popped
say
out
that
of
either.
nowhere.
That's not a dichotomy. Yeah, it doesn't have to be made. Your claim is that physical things have to be made, and you have yet to even attempt to support that claim. All you've done is just demonstrate your ignorance about gravity, and I still haven't heard a single argument for your position. So what is the reason to think that physical things have to be created?
Yeah, just the belief I have in
Okay,
my
right. So you
systems of
believe it
belief.
because you believe it. You don't actually have a reason to believe it, correct?
Yeah, well, there is no reason to
Okay,
believe anything.
fantastic. So, okay, there you go. So you've demonstrated to everybody this is what it means to be a theist, to believe things without reason and then act like you have a reason until someone actually exposes it, because you would have continued lying and pretending you had a reason if I hadn't pressed you on it. So thank you for showing
Yeah,
everyone
no,
how
so you
dishonest
can't
you have
have
to
a
be a
reason.
theist. So I'm done with that. Thanks for showing everybody how dishonest you must be to be a theist. If you are in the well, actually, before I bring up another person, Grandpa Books went absolutely nuts sending in a bunch of stuff. Thank you so much for that. I sincerely appreciate it. Also, thank you to Hop Count and 24 Carat and man, all that Grandpa Books. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dabney's and Poopman Jones as well. Massively appreciated. But ignorance. Okay. So if you are in the guest queue, or if you are thinking about joining, please make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification for your God belief. Exactly, Yana. Thanks for being here, folks. Appreciate you massively. I know that a lot of people in the chat saying hi to me. Hi back to you all. I'm certainly not trying to ignore you, but obviously, like, the focus is the debate. So I apologize if I miss you. It's not a personal slight or anything. Hi to the people on YouTube as well. Don't nearly often enough get people actually on YouTube, still trying to build over there. But we'll bring up the next person. Hopefully, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure, yes, that's exactly right, Catholic Thinker. That's exactly right. If you're in the guest queue, you know what? I want to kind of change it up a little bit. What I want to say is, if you're in the guest queue, I need you to be Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or if you're anything else, be able to clearly and concisely explain what your God belief is. So those are the requirements, and you have to have some kind of argument or evidence for your position.
How's your day going today, sir?
Just fine. How old are you?
21.
All right. And what should I call you?
You can call me Ty.
Like TY?
TY, yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. And is it safe to assume that you're Christian?
Yes, sir. I'm a Christian.
Fantastic.
I just becoming a Christian, and I wanted to ask you why you don't believe in God. If you could give me a reason why.
Yeah, sure. The first reason I always give is just that there is. Can you do anything about the echo? Well, maybe it's gone already. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was right when I said something, it stopped. So whatever. So the first reason that I always give when people ask me why I don't believe in a God is just because there's no evidence for the positive case that a God exists. Every time anyone has ever tried to show that a God does exist, they have failed. And obviously, if there are no successful cases for the existence of a God, then I couldn't possibly have a reason to believe in such a thing. But more than that, not only is there no successful positive case for God, there are successful positive cases against God. Now, one thing that we could say is, like, there are lots of arguments against specific religions, and then there are also lots of arguments against particular gods or gods in general. So I would be happy to provide an argument. Would you prefer an argument against Christianity specifically, or an argument against God in general?
Now, I don't want an argument because I don't like arguing.
Well, when I say an argument, I just mean the line of reasoning that leads me to the conclusion that either Christianity isn't true or God doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so would you prefer Christianity isn't true or God doesn't exist?
I prefer Christianity ain't true.
Okay.
And I prefer both things because I have experienced certain things in my lifetime, and I don't know how to say it, but I don't know if God's real or not, because every time I pray, he doesn't come to my prayers.
Well, what I'll tell you is that Christianity cannot possibly be true because it's self-defeating. So we'll say that I think that you'll agree with me here. If Christianity is true, then there is a God who is all good, all knowing, and all powerful, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what Christianity says. So if Christianity is true, that kind of being exists. However, if there is a God in control of the universe who is all good, all knowing, and all powerful, then Christianity can't possibly be true, which means that Christianity is self-defeating, because the kind of being that would have to exist for it to be true would make it false. And the reason that I say that an all good, all knowing, all powerful God existing would make Christianity false is because if there was such a God, then they would never set up an evil, horrible system like Christianity. Like, just think of some of the concepts, like original sin. The concept of original sin says that you and I are held morally responsible for the actions of people who lived thousands and thousands of years ago that we had nothing to do with. A good God, a good, powerful, just God would not institute a system where they hold people accountable for other people's actions. Like, for example, if I was the mayor of a city and some guy did something I didn't like 20 years ago, and then now his grandkid is born now, would it be okay for me to punish that grandchild for what his grandpa did 20 years ago before he was born?
No, sir.
I completely agree. That would make me evil if I did that, right? If I made that child's entire life hell or punishing because of what their grandpa did, that would be horrible, right?
Yes, sir. That would be horrible. It would.
Absolutely. But that's the system Christianity says is real. We're all punished, and we all have work has to be painful. Childbirth has to be painful. We don't get to live in paradise. We have all these problems, all these illnesses and sicknesses and natural disasters in the world. According to Christianity, we're being punished for something that Adam and Eve did thousands and thousands of years ago. That's an unjust, evil system, and a good God, a good powerful God, would not put it in place. So again, my argument here is, if Christianity's true, there's an all-good, all-knowing, all-powerful God. But if there's an all-good, all-knowing, all-powerful God, Christianity can't be true. Therefore, Christianity is self-defeating and is false.
The one thing I can't understand, I came from a Christian family. I've always ignored God. Was it real? And I've tried praying, and I have a hard time understanding. I don't know what to believe anymore, because every time I go out do a job, I have a family and I provide for them. I have a hard time with money. I just feel like God ain't doing his work, is what I feel like, and I kind of stopped believing in God
Well,
for a really long time now.
Well, what I would tell you is to genuinely think about what you believe, and not just what you believe, but why you believe those things. Because
Right.
my prediction is that if you actually think about it, you'll realize that you don't have a reason to believe in God beyond just like, it's comforting, other people believe it, maybe there's some community. Like, those are the only reasons that exist to pretend to believe in God, but I'm not aware of any actual reasons to think that a God exists.
Now, do you believe that hell exists?
No.
Do you believe in that? I don't believe that either.
Yeah, I don't think that there's...
When we die, where does our soul go to, you know?
Well, I don't think we
does it
have
go?
souls. I don't think souls
Exactly.
exist. I think that we are just... Our minds are our brains, or made by our brains, if you want to look at it that way. And we are this. This is all we are. There is no spiritual component. There is no extra beyond the physical anything, as far as I can tell.
Right.
But I appreciate the conversation. I don't know if we're making a whole lot of there's a whole lot more to discuss, but if you have questions, honestly,
I have more questions.
well, I mean, what I'd like to do is like have a debate here, but if you have other questions, you're welcome to either join my Discord or look up places like Recovering from Religion who can help out. There are other streamers who are really, really good for people who are struggling in the type of situation you're in. There's a lady on here who goes by Leaving Faith. Her name is Sarah, I believe, and she's absolutely fantastic. That's someone I would definitely recommend talking to. So those would be my recommendations to you, because I'm an asshole, Ty. I'm not the guy to talk to figure stuff out. I'm just not equipped for that. Like, my deconversion
it's
took
cool,
like
man.
5 minutes, so I don't really know what it's like to struggle with that stuff.
Well, hey, what did you grow up with? Did your parents believe in God, or did you just grow up with a non-believing home?
I grew up with both of my parents being Christian, and I was Christian until I was 15. My understanding from my mom is that she stopped believing in God, or at least Christianity, sometime in the last like 5 to 10 years. And my dad's belief in God and Christianity has only gotten stronger over the years. He's extremely firm in his Christian faith. But that's where I'm at. But I appreciate the conversation, and I'll move on to the next person. But I wish you nothing but
Hey,
the best,
man.
Ty.
I wanted you to go ahead. I just wanted to tell you this one thing, man. If you were a Christian when you were 15, still have some faith, man.
No,
It's
I think
still
faith
out
is
there.
poison, and I think that anyone who
Well,
has
hey,
faith
that's
is poisoned. All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation, Ty, and I
Alright,
wish you
have a
nothing but
great
the
day,
best.
brother.
You too.
Yes,
Take care
sir,
of
yeah.
yourself. All right. Nice person. Appreciate that, definitely. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus. Make sure that you are Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or can clearly and concisely explain your God belief, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. All right. Hi, Rooted. How old are you?
22.
Okay. And then what religion are you?
I'm a Christian.
Oh, I suppose I probably could have guessed that from the profile pic, huh?
All good. It's all good. What's your name, by the way? Should I just call you Ogar?
Ogar.
Ogar?
Yep.
Ogar? Okay.
Yep. And
No problem. Nice to meet you, Ogar.
nice to meet you too, Rooted. And what would you say is the best reason to believe in a God?
Have you ever heard the argument for motion? I think the fellow that you were talking to, I think a viewer or two before me, kind of was hinting to it, but I don't know if he was able to articulate it fully.
Yeah, I think that when he said motion, he actually meant motion, and I think what you're talking about is actualization of potential, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my position is that change is not the actualization of potential. I don't think that there is potential being actualized. So I can't possibly be convinced by an argument about actualization of potential.
So you just to make sure I'm understanding what your stance is, you believe that there's no reason to believe that there is potential being actualized?
In fact, I think
that there isn't any at all.
Right. I think we have good reason to think that there is no such thing.
Okay. You wouldn't say that we see that in just what we observe in our everyday life?
I would agree. Nothing. That on its face, the things that we see appear to be potential being actualized, but I would disagree that's what's actually happening.
If we were to look, just to observe what we see in everyday life, there is nothing that we can observe, that we can see, that just is, that just came from nothing. So
I'm not talking about anything coming from nothing.
Right. So if we can observe,
so coming from nothing is irrelevant to what I'm saying.
I know, but so maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. Then, could you maybe try to articulate your point another way, or?
So my position is I hold to the B theory of time, eternalism. So my view is that all moments in time are actual. They're all actual. There is no temporal potential. But if eternalism is true, and change is the actualization of potential, then there could not be temporal change. But you and I both know that there is temporal change. So because eternalism is true, change cannot possibly be the actualization of potential.
Okay, just a quick question, just to make sure I'm understanding you completely. Can you define what you mean by all things are actual? Just define that for me.
I mean, you know what it means for something to be actual, right?
Is what something is, what it currently is in reality.
Right. And what I'm saying is that all moments in time are actual. There are no potential moments, and there are no past, there are no moments that used to be actual but aren't anymore. There are no moments waiting to become actual. They're all actual. All past moments, present moments, and future moments are equally actual. There is no potential.
Would you say the same thing about things?
Yes.
You would say the same thing about things.
Right. I do not think that things have potential in them.
You believe that all things are just actual.
Right. And now things can change over time, right? And my account of change would just be something like a thing having different properties at different points in space-time, right? That would be my account of change. And so things can change in that way. But what I'm saying is that when a thing... when the properties of a thing change from one point of space-time to another, that's not potential being actualized. And because the argument for motion that you were talking about running is based on the idea that potential is being actualized, that argument cannot possibly be compelling to me, because I don't agree that there's potential being actualized. So here are our options here, Rooted. You can either try to give me a reason why I should think that potential is being actualized, or we can move on to a different argument.
No, I just think that the idea that things just are actual and moments just are actual is just opposite of what we can see. Like, and if I can just give you an analogy, for example, I'm sure you have a car or drive a car, or know somebody who has a car. In your paradigm, you would say that car is just actual. But we would know that there was a point where that car did not exist.
Right, and so it wasn't actual then.
Right, so there something had to happen in order for that car to be actual.
No, nothing had to happen for it to be actual. It was always actual at the moments it was actual. It just wasn't always those moments.
So the car did not have to be created by the manufacturer?
No, it did, but that wasn't it being actualized. Those events of it being assembled, those events were already actual. That's not potential being actualized. What I'm telling you is that I think all moments in time are equally actual. So just like 10 miles away from me is just as real as where I'm sitting right now, 10 minutes from now is also just as real as the moment right now. It's just not here in the same way that the location 10 miles away from me isn't right here. So
let's stick with the car though, because I like something that you said. You said that the parts being assembled are actual. It's not potential being actualized.
right, the event,
is that correct?
that event
Right.
of those things being assembled was
Yeah.
always actual.
But the parts would be the potential
No.
of the car being
No.
actualized.
No, I'm
Because
disagreeing.
Because without the parts,
No, I'm
there could be
disagreeing,
no car.
Rooted. I
hold
understand what you're saying, and I'm telling you that's not what I disagree with
Right. Right. So can you have a car without an engine?
you. Yes.
So you can have. Let me rephrase. Can you have a drivable car, a working car, without an engine?
Not that I'm aware of.
So in order to have a driving workable car, somebody had to place an engine in a vehicle, correct?
Right, but
In order for-
that event
in order-
was. But hold on, Rooted. Hold on. Yes, that's
Right,
correct.
I'm sorry.
That's correct. But that event was always actual. That was never a potential event. That was always an actual event.
But that's I'm not. But that's not what I'm arguing. I'm not arguing for specifically. I think we're talking past each other because you're more arguing from the idea of the moment. But I'm not arguing from the idea of the moment. I'm arguing from the car. Like for example, if the car did not have an engine, the car is not drivable, but it has the potential to drive.
I disagree. You're just asserting. You're just rooted. I need you to calm down. So I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
what I'm telling you is that I disagree with you, and I've given you a lot of reasons why I disagree with you, and you have not responded to any of the reasons I've given you. All you've done is try to give examples where you're asserting that your position is correct, but you're not giving me any reason to think that your position is correct. What you're trying to do is what's called an intuition pump. You're trying to give situations that you think are good examples of actualization of potential, or at least examples of potential. And what I'm telling you is, because I already have the position that those are not situations where there's potential, the intuition pumps you're giving are never going to work for me. What you would have to actually do is provide some kind of argument, not just keep asserting, well, this is an example of potential. This is an example of potential. This is an example of potential.
Am I able to respond? I don't want to cut you off.
As long as what you're saying is an argument for the existence of potential, you can respond. If what you say isn't an argument for potential and is just another intuition pump or something else, I'm going to cut you off.
That's fine. I don't believe that you have given an argument. I believe that you've kind of.
Okay, so this isn't you giving an argument, Rooted. What you're supposed to be doing. Hold on, no, stop.
But we're having a dialogue.
Rooted,
right? So
rooted. I have given you arguments, and you have not given any for your position. So this is the last time I'm asking you. I'm not going to keep going around in circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you the question one more time. That is not the argument I gave, and I'm sorry that if you haven't been paying enough attention to remember the argument that I gave before, but that's not on me. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to ask you one more time, and if your response is anything other than the argument for your position, then we're all going to know that means you don't have an argument for your position, and I'll just move on. So what is the argument that there is at potential?
The argument that there is potential is we see things going from not being to being.
Right, that's just reasserting the position again, Rooted. That's not an argument, so I'm just going to move on, but I appreciate you trying. Just asserting that things changing is actualization of potential doesn't demonstrate that it is. That's what's in contention. You have to give the argument for that. All right. So we'll go. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support once again. I'll remind you, because we got some people here, I do have the YouTube. I've got, due to popular demand, I did start a Cash App. I've also got my PayPal and Venmo in case anybody is interested in supporting in that way. And then I also have, like I said, the YouTube and Discord if anyone's interested in joining those. And then I do want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting. Thank you so much to Redhead and Cliff and Lem. Thank you, Sir Piffington and Poopman Jones. Thank you. Supporting the guests. Thank you guys for that. Thank you very much for the support, Doc Nancy and Bradley Cooper. Thank you, Zipzop. Just a decent dude. Thank you so much for the money gun. Thank you, Tree, and again, just a decent dude. Thank you so much. Discordant Rhyme and Poopman Jones, Slice 78. Thank you all so much. Dabney's and Poopman Jones, Sober, appreciate you all. You guys rule. I sincerely appreciate all your support. All right. If you are in the... Oh, yeah. Thanks, Bradley Cooper. Oh, shit. I need to put my Cash App onto that. Oops. Oh, well. If you are in the guest queue, make sure that you're an adult and that you believe... Excuse me. Make sure you're an adult and that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish. If you're not one of those religions, that you can clearly demonstrate or clearly and concisely explain your theistic position. All right. We'll bring up the next person. Oh, we needed a tree time for a sec. What did I do, Tree? Are you coming here to scold me?
Why would I scold you?
I don't know.
Oh, no. No. So this time I'm only requesting up because I'm explicitly, arguably, maybe only the first of those list of things, and I just have to be a rule breaker because that's what Eunice taught me to do: is eat a spicy hypotenuse, create the universe. Everyone, be your sparkle self. And maybe just have some Tums on hand, just in case.
And break rules?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look. It's you know, I take it from Dungeons and Dragons. You don't get something hit points if the players aren't supposed to try and kill it. So you gotta do something.
Oh well, I've taken psychic damage. Appreciate you, Tree.
Yeah. Keep going with the life.
Thank you. Take care. All right. We'll try to bring up the next person. Hopefully we can have a good debate. I always love some tree time.
Hello?
Hi, Luca. How old are you?
18.
And what God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
Cool. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in God?
Well, first, do you believe that, like, the universe had a start or that it's eternal?
Depends on what you mean by eternal. If you mean temporally eternal, I'm agnostic to that. If you mean eternal just in the sense that it doesn't have a beginning or end of its existence, then I would say yes.
Okay, so if we look at a number line, right? Let's say 0 is where we are right now, and then it goes negative infinite. Can you ever get to the beginning of it, or no?
What do you mean?
Like, so...
what do you mean by get to the beginning? Do you mean right now is the beginning?
No, right now is where we are. So
okay, so then you
right
just
now.
made a category error because you were saying that the number line goes infinite into the negatives, and then you're trying to find the first negative number when you just said that there isn't one. So when you say there is no first negative number, how long would it take to find the first negative number? I mean, that's like trying to find the current king of America. Well, you're never going to find the current king of America because no such thing exists. So that doesn't mean that, like, that just means that you fucked up in your example there. And I also told you right away that I don't hold to an infinite past. I'm agnostic to that.
You just... What? You
Yeah.
said that you do believe that it's eternal.
Remember what I said when you asked if the universe was eternal? Because I gave you a very explicit, nuanced answer.
What was it?
I told you that if it depends, when you asked if I believe the universe is eternal, I said it depends on what you mean by eternal. If what you mean by eternal is temporally infinite, then I'm agnostic to that. If instead what you mean by eternal is simply that it doesn't begin to exist or go out of existence, then I would say yes. So it depends on your definition of eternal, and I specified that I don't specifically hold to an infinite timeline.
So you believe that it has always been there?
I believe that it did not come into existence and will not go out of existence.
So you believe that it's always been here?
Depending on what you mean by always, and I already specified that.
Always meaning always, like the definition of always.
Are you using always temporally?
Always. Like there's never
That's
been
a yes or no question,
that
Luca. Do you mean always like has existed for infinite time?
Yes.
Okay, then no, I don't hold that position.
So you believe the universe had a start?
No, I do not.
Well, I'm sorry, you're like kind of bugging my brain right now. So you
Yeah,
believe
because
that
you're trying to
it had a
box me
start?
into a box that doesn't exist.
No, you can believe the universe is one of two things. Either it has a start or it doesn't.
Right, but it
That's
depends
the
on
way
what
I
you
see
mean
it.
by when you say it has a start.
Okay,
There's
it had a
nuance
start in
here.
The Big Bang. The Big Bang.
What?
Do you believe in the Big Bang or no?
I think that the Big Bang is our current best explanation for the expansion of the universe.
So you believe the universe had a start?
No,
The Big Bang.
no,
So you believe there was something before the universe?
no,
Before the Big Bang, I mean. Before
No.
the Big Bang.
no.
What?
Do you know what it means to be agnostic on a position?
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't take a position. Right. So I don't take a position to whether or not there was anything before the Big Bang. I do not know. And it would be arrogant of me to pretend that I do know something for which I don't have evidence. I don't have evidence that there was nothing before the Big Bang, and I don't have evidence that there was something before the Big Bang. And without any evidence, I'm unwilling to take a position.
I'm just kind of okay. So you believe there was nothing before the well, you don't know if there was anything before the Big Bang, correct?
Correct. I don't know if before the Big Bang is even a meaningful question.
Okay, but you do believe in the Big Bang, or no?
As I said before, I think that the Big Bang is our current best explanation for the expansion of the universe.
Okay, so what do you think caused the Big Bang?
I don't know that it makes sense to even ask for a cause. I have no idea if it had a cause.
So you're living your whole life based on something that you don't know?
No, I don't make any decisions in my day-to-day life about whether the Big Bang was the beginning of the universe.
Well, like,
So I'm not basing my life on that.
Well, the way I see it, I believe that everything that comes into existence has to have a cause. Do you agree
Yeah,
with
but
that
why
too,
should we
or-
think that the universe came into existence?
Because it's impossible for it not to have not come into existence.
Yeah, demonstrate that.
Like I said, the number line. You can't
Yeah, but
go
we
to the
already
beginning of everything
showed
number line.
there's two problems here, Luca. Number one, it is possible for someone to have been counting down infinitely without beginning and arrive at zero. That is possible. So there's no reason why we couldn't have an infinite past that got to now. That's not a problem at all. Number two, even if it was a problem, I don't hold to that position. If you could show me that it was actually a problem, then I would not be agnostic anymore, and I would say, yep, that's definitely not the thing. The problem is you can't actually do that. So for two very important reasons, your argument about the number line has nothing to do with this conversation. So what is one reason to think that the universe came into existence?
The Big Bang.
Okay, so I already just explained why that's not. Can you tell me what I said?
You said that you don't know what caused the Big Bang. You didn't know what was there before it.
That is not what I said. So were you just not paying attention at all?
Kind of lost you at the beginning. Kind of told you to wait, but you just kept going.
No, that didn't happen. I'm explaining to you my
Okay,
position,
so then
and I don't know what to tell you if you're asking questions and then not paying attention to the answers. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you talk really fast, to be honest.
I do not talk fast as far as I know. If I'm talking too fast, I
Sure.
apologize. It's not my intention.
No, I mean, you make no sense. You don't believe that the universe has a beginning or that it was infinite. That's what you said.
Right. I'm
Either
agnostic
one
to
of
whether
us.
I'm agnostic to whether there's a first or last moment of time,
So why can't you just pick one?
because I don't have justification to do so. I don't believe things based on vibes.
I mean, so I can't really choose what to prove if you're gonna not.
What
pick
you need
one
to
of the two.
demonstrate is that the universe once didn't exist and then it came into existence. That's your claim. That's your burden. And what you can't do is try to knock down a position that I don't hold to and think that that's going to help you. So you need to just give the positive argument for your position that the universe came into existence.
The Big Bang.
That's not, no,
thing,
okay, so
man.
here's what I'll show you. There was a survey that came out back in May, the largest survey of physicists ever conducted. And one of the questions that they asked was, all those physicists and cosmologists that answered, they asked, what should we believe about the Big Bang? What does the Big Bang tell us? And what they said was, the
Can
Big
you
Bang,
zoom out a little?
I'm sorry?
I can't really read up. Can you zoom out a little bit? No, out.
Oh, why I was going to move it. I don't know why you need me to zoom out. What I'm trying to explain, this is the important part right here. The blue, a theory that says the universe evolves from a hot, dense state that says nothing about whether there was an absolute beginning of time or not. You see how that's like 70%? That's because of the 1,700 physicists and cosmologists that responded. The vast majority of them said the Big Bang tells us nothing about whether or not there was a beginning. So that's why I'm agnostic, because our best understanding of the Big Bang is that it does not give us a reason to believe there was a beginning, and it doesn't give us a reason to believe there wasn't a beginning. So since the Big Bang doesn't give us a reason to think that the universe came into existence, what is evidence that the universe came into existence?
Well, for me, the universe not having a start and being eternal just makes absolutely no sense. I don't know how that
Well, that's not an
is it
argument,
that for
Luca.
you?
That's just like, trust me, bro. So
I
is
mean,
there,
that's
do you
kind of
have
how it
any
is for me.
reason to think that the universe came into existence?
I mean, I don't have reason for it to believe that it's always been there.
I didn't ask that. It's a yes or no question, Luca. Do you have any
If I
reason to
don't
think that the
believe,
universe came into existence?
yes, my reason that it came into existence, the fact that it's not always been there,
How do you demonstrate that it hasn't always been there?
because it's impossible to get to a time that's an infinite amount of time away.
Yeah, but that's, again, the same category error that you made before. What you're trying to do is say, if the past was infinite and we started at the beginning, we couldn't get to now. Well, if the past is
Yeah.
infinite, there's no beginning. So all you're doing is begging the question against the thing that you're trying to argue. So what you need to do is not show that there would be a problem if infinity wasn't infinity. You need to show that there's a problem if infinity is infinity.
What? Like, can you say that one more time?
Okay, so what you're saying is that if the past is infinite, we couldn't get from the beginning to now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the problem is that if the past is infinite, there's no beginning. Infinite means boundless. If it's boundless, then there's no first moment, there's no beginning. So when you're saying, like, oh, we couldn't get to here from the beginning, that's misunderstanding. There's no point in the past. If there's an infinite timeline, there's no point in the past that's infinite, an infinite distance away from us now. So any point that you pick in the past to get here from is going to be a finite distance away, and a finite distance is travelable. So there is no such thing as, oh, traveling an infinite amount of time. That's not a thing. That's just a category error or a misunderstanding. So what you need to do is argue that the universe couldn't have always been here without assuming the conclusion first and making a category error.
Really, I just always seen the fact that for the universe, like, it just doesn't work for it to be eternal. To be
Yeah,
honest,
that's just the
how I see
claim
it.
again, Luca.
Yes, because that's how I see it.
I
Like,
know
what?
all you're doing is just saying the reason I believe this is because I believe it. That's all you're saying. You don't have a reason to believe it. You just believe it because you believe it.
I believe it because it makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. If it made sense, you would be able to provide the reason that makes it make sense. And I've asked you to do that over and over and over again, and you
I
haven't
did,
even
you
been
just
able to
don't agree.
try to do so. The best you've done, the
did.
closest you've come to showing that there's a problem is when you begged the question and made a category error. Do you have anything better than that?
Not really.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for the conversation, Luke. I appreciate you. Not going to be able to go very far if that's all you've got. Okay. Hey, we've got some actual activity over on YouTube. That's fucking awesome. Thanks for being there, folks. Appreciate you. Yeah, exactly, Hosa. The caller's incredulity is not our problem. Thank you so much to the people supporting over here on TikTok. Thank you, Lupine and Laura, Chris, Sober, Redhead, Cliff, Lem, Sir Piffington. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you very much. Okay, so if you are in the guest queue or if you're thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or if you're not one of those, that you can clearly and concisely explain your theistic position, and that you actually have some argument or evidence for God. It seems like TikTok isn't like ordering people like they used to, so it's hard for me to know who was first, so I'll just pick somebody, I guess. Well, I appreciate all your support, and I appreciate you anyway, Poopman Jones. Hi, Micah. How old are you?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Oga. I'm actually 30 years old.
Okay, and what's your religion?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay, and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
All right. I've been listening to you, Mr. Oga, for some time now, and actually, I must say, first of all, you are really interesting, and I've
Okay,
thought some
Micah, all I just want is the argument or evidence. There's no need to glaze or anything.
All right, no problem. First of all, I believe that God exists, and that the Lord
I'm so
Jesus
sorry. I'm so sorry. I sincerely apologize. Hold on one second, Micah. I don't generally do this, but I do need to pause you for a moment. Breezy just sent $500 on Cash App. Thank you so fucking much. Like you said, for tuition, this is going to make such an enormous difference. As I've been talking about a bunch, I'm 40 years old and I'm starting my first semester of college on Monday. and this is going to make such an enormous difference for me. I don't even know what to say. Genuinely, thank you so much. I wish that I could do more to show my appreciation, but I don't know what more that I can do other than continuing to say thank you. Breezy, thank you so much. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, Micah. I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay, so where we're at, we're getting the argument or evidence that God exists.
Okay, yeah, you are very correct, sir. So can I make some references just to some things that I listened to you talk about? Like, firstly, for the first person you attended to, you made some mention of some things you don't believe in a Christian God, because actually they punish a God that punish actually others people just for the wrong of others. I'm sure that is one of the things you made mention of. And I believe that God exists and Christ is God, firstly, because as per the Bible, which is what I believe that is truth, it says that for God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, to come and die for us.
Right,
so
but Micah, that's not loving. If I told you that, hey Micah, I really love you, and to prove to you that I love you, I'm going to have a son and then I'm going to torture him to death. Would you feel like if I had a son and then I tortured him to death, that would be an example of me showing you my love for you?
There's something you need to...
Well, that was a yes or no question, Micah. If I have a son and then I torture him to death, do you think that is an example of me loving you?
I will not answer that question.
I need you to give a yes or no answer, Micah. I'm trying to make a point here. If I had a son and then I tortured him to death, would we say that that's an example of me loving you?
All right, no.
Right, I agree with you. That isn't me loving you. That's just me being a sadistic, evil piece of shit. And so when God had a son and then had him tortured to death, that wasn't an example of God being loving. That was an example of God being an evil, sadistic piece of shit.
All right, but firstly, I will not accept that God tortured Christ to death. As per the Bible,
no, but he knew that was what was going to happen, Micah. He didn't do it. Okay, so then let me fix it. If I have a son, and then I get somebody else to come in and torture him to death, would that be an example of me loving you?
Somebody else coming to torture him to death?
Yeah, I create a situation where somebody else comes and tortures my son to death. Is that an example of me loving you?
I would still say no.
Right, I agree. That's not an example of me loving you. So God having a son and then getting someone else to torture him to death is not an example of him being loving. That's an example of him being a sadistic, evil piece of shit.
The reality is, the Bible says he gave himself. He didn't torture. One thing you need to understand.
Is God all powerful? Is God all powerful?
Yes.
Is God all knowing?
When you talk,
is God all knowing?
Can I talk?
Is God all knowing?
Yes, God is all knowing.
Okay, so God's all knowing and he's all powerful, and God created the universe, right?
He did, but you need to understand.
Okay, fantastic. So God is all knowing, he's all powerful, and he created the universe. And so what that means is that when God created the universe, because he's all powerful, he could have created any universe he wanted to. He could have made the timeline play out any way he wanted. And because he's all powerful, so he's all knowing, so he knew exactly what would happen, and he's all powerful, so he could have made it any way he wanted. He chose to make a universe where he would have a son, and then the son would get tortured to death. He could have chosen to make a universe where that didn't have to happen. Because he made the choice for that to happen, he's the one that's morally responsible for it happening. So when we say that it's evil for someone to have a child and then get someone else to come torture them to death, and that we say that's evil, then it must also be evil when God did it. So again, either it's evil when God had his son tortured to death, or it would not be evil for me to have my son tortured to death.
Because one thing is, Mr. Oga, you need to have when you are talking.
I need you to actually respond to what I'm saying, Micah.
Mm-hmm. So my response, why I'm saying, let me ask you a question. Like, if you are in the United States, for example, is the government of the United States all powerful?
No.
Yeah, I mean over the country, like the government, their rules and regulations.
They are not all powerful.
Is there anything that is above them, above the government to implement and do?
That wasn't
Like,
the question. Is are they all powerful? They are not all powerful.
All right, let me tell you this. Do you know that if they got a criminal, they are criminals that they can get?
Okay, so are you going to respond to anything that I'm saying, Micah, or are you just going to try to go off to other stuff?
No, I need to give you an example so that you understand clearly.
No,
So
what you need to tell me is whether if it's evil for me to have a son and then have him tortured to death, why is it different for God?
The first thing is that God didn't say when you understand what it means. Like,
You need to answer the question, Micah. If it's evil for me to have my son tortured to death, why isn't it evil when God does it?
The first thing is God didn't torture his son.
I didn't say that he did. I said he had him tortured to death. God created the situation where he knew that's what would happen. According to the Bible, what the Bible tells us, what the Bible says, Micah, is that the whole timeline was known from the beginning. It had all already happened. God already knew it was all going to happen. So he knew from the moment he created the universe, he knew that Jesus was going to get tortured to death. And since God's all powerful, he could have made the universe different. So he chose to make the universe where Jesus would be tortured to death. It was his choice for that to happen. Maybe you want to say that he didn't carry out the torture himself. Fine. That doesn't change the fact that he's the one that made it happen. So since God is the one that made it happen, he's the one that's morally responsible for it. If I did that, you said it would be evil. What's the difference when God does it?
The first thing now is understanding what you are talking about and what you are believing.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one more time, Micah, and if you can't actually respond to the question that I'm asking you, then I'm just going to have to move on. So you're saying that if I had my son tortured to death, that would be evil, but if God does it, it's not evil. What's the difference?
No. God, if God, for God, first of all, to torture somebody, that's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that.
I didn't say God tortured anyone. I said God had his son tortured to death. Did God know when he created the universe that that one of the things that would happen was that Jesus would get tortured to death?
No.
God didn't know. Hold on, Micah. Hold on. Okay, so now we're going to just show the contradiction here. Now we're going to say, okay, so we're going to say God is all-knowing. And then we're going to say God did not know that Jesus would be tortured to death before it happened.
Because God created Adam
and then
before Christ.
if we say, if God, we'll just copy this in, if God did not know before it happened, then God is not all-knowing. And so then our conclusion, God is all-knowing and God is not all-knowing. So now what you need to do here is resolve the contradiction.
All right. Oga. Mr. Oga, let me just find out.
So you need to say 1, 2, or 3. Which do you reject?
Okay, can I just go through? Okay, the first one says God is all-knowing. The second one says God didn't know that Jesus would be tortured to death before it happened. If God did not know that Jesus would be tortured to death before it happened, then God is not all-knowing. God is all-knowing and God is not all-knowing. What are the one I'm rejecting? The one I'm rejecting is God didn't know is the second one.
But that's what you just said. Okay, so maybe I'll say to death when he created the universe, and then we'll say when he created the universe. Okay, so now do you agree?
With which section?
Do you agree with 1, 2, and 3? Or do you disagree with any of them?
If God didn't know that Jesus would be tortured to death when he created the universe, then God is not all knowing. I disagree with the third one.
Okay, what does it mean to be all-knowing?
When I say it means to be all-knowing, it is based on truth.
What? Just
It
tell
is
me what
based
it
on
means to be all-knowing.
All-knowing, based on my definition, is having a perfect understanding based on truth. The question now is, what do you call truth?
Okay, what's
What do you
truth?
understand as truth? What is truth to you, Mr. Oga?
No, you're the one giving the definition. What do you mean when you say truth?
When I talk about truth, truth to me is what I see that comes from the Bible. That is what I call truth.
Okay, and it's in the Bible that Jesus was tortured to death, right? Is it in the Bible that Jesus was tortured to death? Micah, is it in the Bible that Jesus was tortured to death?
He was tortured to death based by the
Was it? Is it in the Bible?
He was tortured to
Is
death
it in the
by-
Bible, Micah?
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Okay, fantastic. So truth is what's in the Bible, and God knows being all-knowing means that he... Hold on. Calm down. You said that truth is what's in the Bible, and being all-knowing... Hold on, Micah. Stop. I know that you're terrified of the fact that I'm about to expose the problem in your view, but you got to just buckle up and let it happen, my guy. So here's what's going on. You said that truth is knowing or what's in the Bible. What's in the Bible is what's true. And you said that being all-knowing means knowing all... Hold on, Micah. If you're just going to continue to interrupt because you won't let me show the problem in your view, then I can just move on, Micah. So I'll try one more time and see if I can get through it. You said that truth is what's in the Bible. You said that being all-knowing is knowing all the true things. So that means that if God is all-knowing, which you said he is, then he knew always all the things that were in the Bible. One of the things in the Bible is Jesus being tortured to death, which means that if God is all-knowing, when he created the universe, he knew that Jesus would be tortured. He knew that Jesus would be tortured to death. So since God knew at the beginning of the universe that Jesus would be tortured to death, or excuse me, that's what he would have to know that if he was all-knowing. We can tell that if God didn't know that, he wouldn't be all-knowing. So again, we'll go right back to where we were. Your current position leads you to this contradiction. So I'm going to give you one more opportunity to resolve this contradiction.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Oga? Have you ever visited a natural forest whereby no human being has ever stopped there?
Okay. Well, I appreciate the conversation, Micah. It's clear that we've reached the end of the road. Obviously not able to actually engage, which is unfortunate. Twisted himself into pretzels. That was fucking awesome. Thank you, Casey. To protect his beliefs. Hey. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you. What's happening? Did I miss something? Why do I have
I want to give her...
What did I do? Is this an accident? Okay, fair enough. I thought maybe she was coming up to tell me I did something wrong, or they were coming up to tell me I was doing something wrong. I don't know their pronouns, so probably pretty rude of me to assume. I apologize for that. But thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Appreciate you massively. What's going on? Did I say something sciencey wrong? What did I do, Sober?
You didn't do anything wrong. I actually came up here to deliver a message.
Oh, cripes.
So I know I normally come up here to mess around, but I did just want to give a special thanks to Breezy. I think that's awesome.
Dude, I don't even know what to say.
And I also wanted to give a special thanks to Ogar, because I think I'm speaking for the whole chat here when we're incredibly proud that you're taking the initiative and going to college. I think that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It's there's been some bumps in the road, but I don't know. I'm kind of in my turn my life around and improve myself era. So
I think that's awesome, man. I think everyone here is proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that. And because we're enemies now, I got to kick you.
Okay.
You know I love you, Sober. No, I mean, Sober's 100% right. Like, I cannot say thank you enough to not only Breezy. I mean, obviously, like Breezy, like holy fuck, thank you so much. But also to everybody who's supporting, like to the folks who are here just watching and don't comment, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it massively. For the people who are watching and you comment, Breezy sent a $500 donation on Cash App. That's what Breezy did. It's fucking crazy. But like I said, if you're watching, if you have followed on YouTube, TikTok, or both, thank you so much. If you're tapping the screen and liking, if you are sharing, if you're doing any of that, if you're commenting, if you're you know, telling your friends, like anything, like thank you so much for all of it. And then of course, obviously I massively appreciate the folks who are supporting financially as well. You know, it completely blows me away every fucking time the people support, and you guys do it so much. I don't know what to say, but thank you so much. I will bring up the next person here, but I just want to say thank you and tell you guys how much I appreciate you, because it's fucking a lot. Okay, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are an adult, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish. If you're not one of those religions, that you can clearly and concisely explain your theistic belief, and make sure that you have some argument or evidence that would justify your belief in a God. Thanks, Kant.
Hello.
Hi, Grog. How old are you?
I'm 19. I believe in the Islamic God.
Fantastic. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in God?
I can go ahead and give mine. Do you want to substantiate the claim behind you that God isn't real? Do you want me to give my argument first?
I suppose it's up to you.
Yeah, you can go for it first. The Islamic God, just prove it real quick.
Okay, yeah. I mean, do you believe in like a classical theism version of the Islamic God, or?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
When you say classical theism, I'm assuming you're saying like an immaterial mind exists outside of space and time?
No, classical theism is more the like God is existence itself.
Probably like neoclassical then, probably. But you can go ahead with the premises and I'll say if I agree or not.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to make sure that I give you an argument that actually is, you know, relevant to the God you believe in. That's why I'm asking a couple questions.
Cool. Sure.
Okay, so do you believe that there was a state of existence where God existed without a universe, and then a different state of existence where God existed with the universe?
And when you say universe, what do you mean?
I just mean the universe.
Like space and time?
Sure. I mean, like the global causal order.
I don't know what that means, but for space and time, I would say no. I hold to like I don't hold any ontic state to space and time. I hold more like a conceptual view.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about just space and time. I'm saying the universe. You know what the universe is. Don't pretend that you don't. So was there a state of existence where God existed sans creation, and a different state of existence where God was with creation?
Like that. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So then what we'll say is that either God was always creating or not always creating. If he was always creating, then the universe always existed. If the universe always existed, it was never brought into existence. If it wasn't brought into existence, it wasn't created. And if it wasn't created, he didn't create it. However, if he began creating, then that means that he changed, which means that he went from a state of existence, or he was in a state of existence that didn't have change, and he changed, which obviously is not possible. So if God had to change, then he couldn't have created the universe. So it looks like either way we slice it, it's not possible for God to create the universe. However, if God exists, he did create the universe, therefore God doesn't exist.
What do you mean God can't change?
Yeah, because if he is the creator of the universe, then he's outside the universe, which means he's outside space and time. If he's outside time, he cannot change.
What did I tell you about space and time?
You think that they're conceptual?
Yep, so how does he exist outside of space and time? If I say it's a conceptual view that I hold, and I don't hold any ontic state to it.
Yeah, so that means that he isn't in
change without time.
So then he isn't in a state of existence that has change.
No, I'm saying he can change, but it's a conceptual view of time I hold.
I don't care.
He can change.
I don't know. He cannot. If God is in a state of existence where the universe doesn't exist, where creation doesn't exist, then time and space, like space-time, matter, none of those things exist. Those are features of the universe. So if God existed in a state of existence without creation, then that means he existed in a state of existence without time. And if he existed in a state of existence without time, then that means that there was no change. So he couldn't change, but in order to begin creating, he would have to change.
Yeah, I'll hold to like the Lebesgue view, or I think that's his name, of time. But I'm saying when we say universe, I'm assuming you refer to like 13.18 billion years ago.
No.
The Big Bang.
No.
Okay, space and time. I already told you it's co-eternal with him. I don't hold to any existence of it.
Right. So then you hold to the position where God was eternally creating, where so now you're just contradicting yourself, it sounds like, because if you so you said, actually, you know what? We can just derive a contradiction here. So you said there was a state of existence where God existed sans creation. We'll say creation is co-eternal with God. And then we'll say if creation is co-eternal with God, then
that's not what I said at all. I didn't say creation.
Then
I said, for example, specific attributes.
There was
such as time
no
and space.
state of existence where God existed sans creation. And so conclusion, there was and there was not a state of existence where God existed sans creation.
What does creation mean?
Space, time, matter,
Oh my
anything
God.
other
For the
than
third
God.
time, what did I say about those
Literally anything other than God himself.
things? No, that's no. I said I hold to a conceptual time, so they didn't get creation. So that's a false. This is a false premise.
Okay, well, when I'm saying
you wanna accept- listen,
so then understanding now, when I'm saying creation, I'm saying literally anything other than God himself. Was there ever a state of existence where God existed sans creation?
So when you say creation, literally other than God itself.
Right.
Yes, there was.
Okay,
So like when
fantastic.
we're talking about like the
Okay,
Earth, for
fantastic.
example.
So now we're right back to here. So there was a state of existence where God existed sans creation, and there wasn't a state of existence where God existed sans
Yeah,
creation.
yeah,
So you
then
have contradicted
creation
yourself.
Yep. So creation isn't co-eternal. Then under the definition we just defined, it's not co-eternal.
Okay, so then what you now have to say is that God, in a state of existence without change, changed.
What's the problem?
What's the problem with saying that a state of existence where there is no change had change? That's a
saying
direct
creation.
contradiction. You're saying that God was in a state of existence where change didn't exist and change existed. That's a contradiction, my guy.
I'm saying change came to occur. Change came to occur.
Yeah, I'm saying that God was in a state of existence where if it's God and nothing else, God sans creation, in the sense where creation is anything other than God. You said there was a state of existence where God existed sans creation, correct? In that understanding of creation.
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. And so in that state of existence, because there's God and nothing else, there is no time. And if there is no time, then there is no change. If there is
Oh my
no
God,
change,
there is
then it's not
time.
possible for change to
there is
happen.
time.
Okay,
Listen,
so
there is
now
time.
what you're saying is that God is time?
If you want to put it that way, sure.
Okay.
We hold to different views of time.
Well, then we're not even talking about a God anymore. Now you're just talking
Well,
about a
yes, you are.
naturalistic force that you call God, but that's not a God.
No, I'm saying an immaterial mind that created and sustained the universe, and I'm saying time is conceptual. There is no such thing.
No,
as time.
now you're not saying time is conceptual. You're saying time is God.
No,
Are you
that's
saying
not what I
God
said.
is conceptual?
I'm saying time isn't created.
Is time conceptual?
No.
Okay,
Yes,
so
time
now
is conceptual.
time is not
Time is
conceptual.
I said sorry. Time is conceptual.
Okay,
We're not
so
going anywhere. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
time is conceptual. Is God
Correct.
conceptual?
No.
Okay, fantastic. So then we'll create a new one here. So we'll say God is identical to time. Time
What?
is conceptual. And
Then why did I say God is identical to time?
I asked you if there was a state of existence where it was God and nothing other than God. You said yes, and you said God, time was in that state of existence. That means that time and God are the same thing, because if there's a state of existence,
listen closely.
hold on, Grog, stop. If there's a state of existence where there's literally nothing but God, and in that state of existence time exists, that means that God is identical to time. So now
I'm
your
saying time doesn't
position.
exist.
So
So
no,
he's not identical to time.
okay, hold
Time
on.
doesn't exist.
So if time doesn't exist, then change doesn't exist. And if change doesn't
Well,
exist, God can't go from not creating to creating.
I'm saying I don't hold to the view of time that you hold. That's
I
a
don't
sequence.
care.
So
That's
when you say
irrelevant.
time-
That's totally irrelevant,
When you
Grog.
say time, you're saying sequence of change, right? So going from
I
one
don't
moment to
care.
another.
I don't care. This doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No,
'cause you're
it
doing an
doesn't.
internal critique
No,
of my
because
worldview, right?
what you're saying is all you're doing is you're just contradicting yourself over and over and over
No, I'm
again,
not.
and then you're running to a different contradiction every time my point went out.
No, so are you doing an internal critique? Yes or no?
I'm showing you that God can't possibly
That's a yes
exist,
or no
and you're
question.
trying to run away. Yes, I'm doing an
No, I'm not.
internal
Are you
critique.
doing an internal critique? Yes.
Yes.
Or no? Yes. So are you gonna adhere to my definitions and my worldview or yours?
I'm
Which one?
fine.
Which
yours.
one?
That's fine. But what I'm
Yours.
telling you
Okay,
is
so
that
are
if,
you gonna listen to what I'm saying? Are you gonna listen to what I'm saying?
so then define time without just saying
Time-
it's conceptual.
Probably. I don't really have an exhaustive definition of it.
All right. Well, then
But I'm
fuck
saying
you.
it's
Then
definitely
this
not
is
a
all
sequence of
bullshit.
change.
This is all just grandstanding. Then
Nope, it's not.
give the
Nope, it's not. I'm
definition of
saying
time.
It's not a sequence of change.
Give
It's
the
not a sequence
definition.
of
I don't
change.
care what it's not. Tell me what it is.
What is time?
Well, all it is just whatever gets me out of the contradictions I'm committed to.
Nope, it's not.
Okay, then give the
I hold to another
definition.
view of it.
Give the definition.
It's
What's the
called, like-
view?
Yeah, hold on. Let me think. It starts with like an L. It's like Lebanese.
Tell
wait,
me
hold on.
what time is.
And I review. Yeah, I don't know.
If you can't provide a definition of time, then you've just exposed yourself that this was all bullshit.
Nope, I haven't.
This is all bullshit. So
No,
I'm
I
going to
can
ask
get
you
to the
one more
review,
time
but I
for
just
the
don't have it
definition of
off the top of my
time,
head.
and if you don't give it, then we all know that this was all bullshit.
No, I don't have it. off the top of
All
my
right,
head.
fantastic.
Google.
Thanks for confirming that it was all bullshit, Grog. You have to use my definitions. You have to use my view. I mean, I don't know what my view is. It's just anything that I have to say to get me out of the contradictions I committed myself to. Unbelievable. Oh, Kevin. I guess you just really wanted the ban, huh? uh, funny. All right. Well, that was fun. Got a young Muslim LARPer. Good times. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting. Thank you, Cheering Towel. Well, that's fucking awesome. Thank you, Poppy Loco. Thank you, Atheist Lamina, Lem, Cliff Johnson, Slushy Baka, Sober. Thank you guys. Thank you to where we at? Slushy Baka, Doc Nancy. Thank you so much to Poppy Loco and Broken Tree Branch. Thank you, Lupine. Me. Well, thank you, me. Thank you, Ashley, for supporting Pokey. I appreciate you. Thank you, Bradley and Poopman Jones. Just crushing it. Thank you so much, Poopman Jones. Tiny Science, thank you so much. Bradley Cooper. KC, I love the Pirate's Treasure. That was fucking awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you so much to Tiny Science again, and Just a Decent Dude. Lobes, thank you so much. If you're here, say hi. I love you, man. Hope you're doing well. Thank you to Lupine and Kick Against the Machine. Thank you so much, Poppy Loco. Carter, Bradley Cooper, Arrow 404. Once again, Poopman Jones. Poopman Jones like, oh, I can't support it anymore. And then you just keep supporting. Thank you so much, Lupine and Laura and Chris. Yeah, thank you, everybody. So many supporters. Oh, thank you, Hopcount, as well. What's happening? Is somebody... Well, we can... I mean... We don't have to put up with people abusing mods. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay. All right. So if you are in the guest queue, oh, thank you, Insomniac. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And Both Sides and 3 Pips and Poppy Loco. You guys fucking rule. If you're in the guest queue or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult. Make sure that you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or if you're not one of those religions, that you can clearly and concisely articulate your theistic view. And then also make sure that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Aves, just some asshole who is just being a douche. I'm not going to put up with it. All right. I don't know who's been requesting the longest. I'll accept this one. Hi, how old are you?
25.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
I'm a Christian.
Okay, and what should I call you?
Matthias is fine.
Okay. 2 T's or 1 T?
2.
Doing it all wrong. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
Well, I mean, it depends on like what kind of argumentation you mean or what you're looking for, but I think teleological arguments can be pretty good. But I was interested in something you were talking about with the previous guest, if that's okay. If not, it's all right.
What's that?
It seems like it was to do with the problem of evil, or at least God bearing more responsibility for some action.
Oh, yeah. So we were just discussing. There's an argument that the philosopher Alex Malpass gave that I really like. I give it a slightly different version, but essentially it boils down to: if Christianity is true, then there is an all good, all knowing, all powerful God. But if there's an all good, all knowing, all powerful God, Christianity would be false. So therefore, Christianity is self-defeating and is false.
What would be the motivation for the second proposition?
Yeah, because if there's an all-good, all-knowing, all-powerful God, they would never set up a system where people are held morally responsible for other people's crimes. That's unjust and evil.
Held morally responsible for other people's crimes?
Right, like the concept of original sin.
Oh, yeah, why would that be evil?
Yeah, so let's imagine that I'm the mayor of a town, and one of the people in the town does something that I don't like. It's really bad, and I think it's horrible, and I'm really mad about it. Then 20 years later, I'm still in control, and that person who did something really bad has passed away, but now their grandchild is born. Would it be good or evil for me to intentionally make that child's life harder as punishment for what their grandpa did?
Well, it depends on...
Would it be good or evil for me to intentionally make that child's life harder because as punishment for what their grandpa did?
Yeah, I was answering you.
I just need you to give me the direct answer.
What do you consider a direct answer?
You would say it is good, or you would say it is evil, or you would say I don't know.
Well, I think that there's more nuance.
I don't really give a fuck what you think, Matthias. I'm asking you for a direct answer. So if I was to do that, would it be good or evil?
Your dad raped you, didn't he?
Well, there you go. That's the best that Christians can do. Yeah, because why would I engage honestly? What would you consider a direct answer? Yeah. The pretzels they have to twist themselves in. Poopman Jones, are we talking about Vertical Horizon? What's happening? I just saw a reference that seems to have been to Vertical Horizon, and now I just feel like a kid again. What was that song? Now I'm gonna have to look it up. It's killing me. What was that song called, Poopman Jones? Can you what was the lyric from it? Oh, fuck. Now, okay, sick. Well, at least I don't have to wonder, because now I can remember what that song was. I actually liked that album back in the day. Crashed out instead of answering a simple question. All right. Yeah, I thought it was a great album. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, again, for the support. Appreciate you all massively. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure that you're an adult and that you have wait. Oh, fuck. Thank you. I don't want to dox anybody's name, but thank you for the $20 on Venmo saying it's necessary that you keep cooking. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Whoever sent that, like I said, I don't know if the name on there is a name you want me reading out, but thank you so much. Massively appreciated. Yeah, massively. Okay, so once again, if you're in the guest queue, or if you are thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or if you're not one of those religions, that you can clearly and concisely explain your theistic belief, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Hi, Raven. How old are you?
Hello, Ogre. I am 19 and Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. And what God do you believe in?
Well, I don't mean to,
Well, I just laid out. I just laid out what the requirements are. You're gonna get kicked real fast. I know you've been waiting a while, so just answer the question.
Wait. Oh, I'm Christian technically. But
Okay, so what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Well, let's see. It's a good argument I can make for this. Let's see. Well, how else would you explain?
That's asking me a question. You shouldn't be asking me a question.
Well, you're right.
Okay.
I'm being dumb right now.
Yeah. So what's the best argument for God,
Best argument for God.
or some piece of evidence?
Piece of evidence. Damn. I can't think of anything on top of my head. Shit.
You've been in the guest queue for like I don't know, at least half an hour.
Wait, because I have a question for you.
What's your question?
Okay, so my grandma is full-blown Christian, right? And you know how your argument is, God is all-knowing, and we technically wouldn't have free will over all that, right? Would you say God did it for the plot because he knew Adam and Eve would eat the apple?
Okay. All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus. Make sure that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least can clearly and concisely explain your theistic position, and make sure that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. James, how old are you? Hello? Okay, fair enough. I love that you're using that polymagic. Hi, Philly Sports. How old are you?
Hi. 38.
I feel like we talked like a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, we did. I just want to say, if you shaved your beard, you'd look like Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, I don't know about that. What God do you believe in?
Oh. Well, I believe in the Christian God.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
Well, I mean, I would say... I'm sorry. Hey, quiet. What about the universe, what do you call it?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. The intelligent design?
Why should we think that anything is intelligently designed?
Well, I mean, look at everybody has different fingerprints, different DNA. I mean, how does...
You probably want to pull your phone out of your pocket.
Why?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now, yep.
Oh, my finger was over the thermal or speaker hole. I'm saying, like, with everybody having a different DNA and different fingerprints, that has to be an intelligent designer.
Why is that?
I mean, that's kind of hard to pull off if, everybody has different DNA and fingerprints, no?
Why?
Well, I mean... look at structures or buildings. They're not all the same.
Can you just give me the answer?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you don't actually have a reason to believe what you believe. You just believe it because you like it?
No.
Okay.
No,
so then what's the
I
actual
have
reason to think that God exists?
Because I have experience of what God did in my life.
And how do you know? Okay, and why would we expect God to give you that kind of experience?
Well, I'm not the only one that he gets.
That's not an answer to my question. Why would we expect God to give you that experience?
Because he wants to show his self through people to save them from their sin.
Sure. So he gives people experiences because his goal is to save people from their sins?
Well, I mean, he sent Jesus Christ to die on the cross for our sins, but we're supposed to live like Jesus.
Right. So you said the reason that he gave you that experience is to save people from their sins, right?
Not to go to hell.
You said the reason he gave you that experience is because his goal is to save people from their sins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so if God's goal is to save people from their sins, well, I should clarify, does God want to save everyone from their sins?
Yeah, none should perish, but they'll have eternal
Oh,
life.
okay, fantastic. So then why does God just give you a personal experience and not reveal himself to everyone and save us all from our sins?
Because we have to go to him. We have to.
But you said God's goal is to save people from their sins. Which is more effective to save people from their sins, Philly? Making everybody come to him, or him revealing himself so that everybody has the opportunity and knows that he's real?
But God don't work that
Which
way.
is more
It's
effective?
faith.
Which is
I
more
understand.
effective?
I understand what you're
Which
saying.
is more
but
effective, Philly?
I understand.
Which
what
is
you're
more
saying.
effective? I don't need you to tell me that you understand. I need you to
Okay,
answer the
fine,
question.
Fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, God revealing himself to everyone, but
Fantastic. Does God have the power to do that?
yes, he does.
Fantastic. So God has the power to do the more effective thing, but he chooses to do the less effective thing. So why is God so incompetent?
I don't know the answer, but
Okay,
I
but you
know-
agree that your God is incompetent, right?
Yeah, but
Okay, so we both agree that if your God exists, he's incompetent. The problem is that if God did actually exist, he would be a perfect being, right?
Yes, Ogre.
Okay, fantastic. So what we've determined here, Philly, is that if God exists, then he's perfect. But the God that you've described is not perfect. He's incompetent. So the God that you've described doesn't actually exist, right?
No.
Okay, well, I'm glad we both agree that your God doesn't exist. Thanks, Philly.
I
Have a
didn't
good
say
one.
that.
Made God incompetent. All right. Thank you everybody again for the support. I mean, obviously, like I'm probably going to call it out 1,000 times, but thank you so much to Breezy. That's like massively appreciated. And then also thank you to everybody supporting here on TikTok. Thank you, Roger and Mikey and Taryn. Thank you very much sincerely for the support. Both sides, 3 Pips, Poppy Loco, Hop Count, Chumbawamba. Thank you all, genuinely. It means a lot to me. Okay, so where are we at? If you are in the guest queue, or if you are thinking about requesting, what's the best response to science is wrong all the time? You can't prove X isn't real. How do you explain this burden shift to someone that doesn't understand what a burden shift is? Science is wrong all the time. You can't prove X isn't real. I guess I would need to know more context. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm not really sure the best way to answer that. Did I see the gift? Yeah, I've seen a couple. I got the crazy 500 from Philly. Thank you to him, or Philly from Breezy. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that from Breezy. And then I also got the Venmo about it being necessary that I continue cooking. Oh, from Bradley N for the dinosaur. Is that what you're talking about? That's holy shit. Thank you so much, Bradley. No, I missed that somehow. Thank you so much, Bradley. Damn, that's fucking awesome. Thank you. You guys spoiled me so much. Spoil me so much. Like, I appreciate it massively. I do not want to make it seem like I don't appreciate it, because I genuinely do. Okay, so if you're in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least can clearly and concisely state your theistic position, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Well, I appreciate it either way, Bradley. Thank you.
Yo.
Hi, Big Flex. How old are you?
39.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Cool. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in God?
Well, above your head, it says God isn't real.
Yep.
Is that your claim?
Yeah.
Is that a definitive claim?
It's an epistemic claim.
Is it a definitive claim?
It's an epistemic claim. I just answered that question.
When you mean epistemic, do you mean definitive?
I'm not really sure what you mean by definitive, so I'm giving you an answer that I know that I'm correct. It's an epistemic claim. And what I mean by that is I'm claiming to know that God isn't real.
Do you have proof?
I have lots of evidence, lots of support for the position, yeah. Do you want to hear an argument for why God can't exist?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to nail one thing down before we go into it. Do you agree that, do you have an account of what cause and effect is? I know different people think of cause and effect different ways. And I just want to make sure I'm using your understanding.
So, like, if something happens, it has to have a cause?
Well, right, like what it means for something to be a cause of an effect. Like, in my mind, what cause and effect means is something like where either one object or an event, something like that, shares a spatial and temporal relationship with some other object or event, right? Like, we could say that, like, if I hit a cue ball on a pool table, as long as it's in the right point in space and time, as it travels, it will hit other balls and cause them to go all over the table, right? But if I'm hitting the cue ball on Monday and the other balls don't get there on the rest of the table until Wednesday, well, then when I hit the ball on Monday, it's not going to do anything because there is no temporal relationship between me hitting the cue ball and the rest of the balls being hit by the cue ball, right? Or if I have the ball set up on one table and I'm on the other side of the... Okay.
You kind of lost me on that last thing, but just to simplify it, is everything that happened has to have a cause. So if something happens, something had to cause it in a simpler,
no, I'm saying
simplified version.
No, I'm saying like the kind of relationship that cause and effect is. In my mind,
or the kind of relationship. So it has to something that happens. It has to be related to a cause, like how they intertwine with each other.
Well, in order for a cause and effect to be related to each other, it seems like to me they have to be have some kind of relationship in space and time.
What is that? Is that going to be how you feel about it? Or is that going to be like definitive?
Well, that's why I'm asking you. I mean, I asked you when you didn't really understand the question, so I'm trying to explain my view on it, and then you can tell me if you agree with me or if you have a different view.
All right, you can try to give me your simplest version then.
Okay,
and then I'll see if I agree with you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that causes and effects are either objects or events, and the only way that a causal event can create an effect event is if there's a space and time relationship between the cause and the effect.
I'm probably gonna disagree because as a Christian, we don't believe God is gonna be restraint.
Yeah, so then I just need you to explain to me what cause and effect are then.
A cause is something of a cause is something that's happening, and I think the aftermatter of it is going to be the effect. So, like, if I can give like an example, a ball moving in motion, like a soccer ball moving in motion, would be the effect, and the cause of it for it going in motion would be like me kicking it like that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
That's like the simplest version, because you sound like you're very educated, so I don't, I'm like kind of dumbed down.
Well, that's just the kind of thing I'm talking about, though, Big Flex. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm saying is cause and effect. There's either the object of your foot hitting the object of the ball and the spatial and temporal relationship between them causing the ball to move, or we could say it's the event of you swinging your leg causes the event of the ball moving. But in either case, it sounds like in order for a cause to create an effect, that there has to be a relationship between the two in space and time.
So so that's where I'm gonna have that slight disagreement with you, because as a Christian, I wouldn't think that God needs to be binding on space and time.
Sure. So then I just need you to explain to me what cause and effect are without space and time.
It's going to be the same thing. It's just
No, because
don't-
what
I
you
don't know if
described,
I'm-
what you described requires both space and time. But you're saying that you have an account of causation that isn't in space and time or doesn't require space and time. So I need you to give me an example or a definition of cause and effect that doesn't include space or time.
when it in pertaining to God.
No, just in general. What does it mean for something to be a cause and something to be an effect? And the definition, according to you, isn't going to have space or time in it.
God.
No, I need you to define. I need you to define what it means for something to cause an effect, and the definition needs to not include space and time, but it needs to be informative so that I can tell what you're talking about. Just saying the word God doesn't tell me what you mean.
So when I'm talking about God,
No, I don't
talking
want you to talk about God.
someone-
That's what I'm saying the problem is.
No, I know.
Okay,
No,
so
I
we're
know.
not talking about God
But
right now,
I'm
Big.
trying to-
So we're not talking about God right now. We're just talking about. We're only talking about cause and effect. So I just need you to explain to me what cause and effect are, and the explanation can't include space or time.
I'm not sure I'm not sure how to explain what you're asking me. I'm sorry.
I just need you to tell me what cause and effect are in a way that doesn't include space or time.
I thought I told you what cause and effect is.
You told me.
But when it-
You told
in
me that it
human
includes.
relations-
You told me that it requires space and time. And then you said it doesn't require space and time, so I'm confused.
In regards to human
No, not in
relations,
regards to
right?
anybody. No, I don't know. Not in regards to anybody. Just in general, not taking any God or humans or anything else into account. Just the concept of cause and effect. What does that mean outside of space and time?
something that happened.
Okay,
and
a
the
happening
aftermath of
is an event, and events are in time. So it can't be something happening.
So a cause. So, let me try to think about this. Because
I think that you're seeing. Here's the thing, Big Flex. I'll give you credit. I think that a lot of people don't see this right away, and I think that you're seeing the problem immediately. Because as soon as you give a definition of cause and effect, you know that definition is going to include space and time, and then you also know that God must be outside space and time. And if you agree to a definition of causation that is in space and time, you're going to then realize that it's not possible for God to cause the universe. But if God exists, he must have caused the universe. So the only way for you to be able to say that God caused the universe is for you to give an account of space and time, of cause and effect that does not include space and time. So it's very important that you explain this so that we can say, so I know what it means to have a cause and effect without space and time.
I mean, I know your definitions of cause and effect and your understanding of space and time and your understanding of God is probably you have a different view of God. Like
this is all a distraction, Big Flex. I just need you to describe and define what cause and effect are.
May I host, may I speak, please? Can I
only,
get some word out?
I'm not if it's not a definition of cause and effect. That's the only thing I'm interested in. As soon as you do that, as soon as you give me that, you can say whatever you need to say.
I'm asking you, please.
No, I'm telling you no. The only thing I'm going to accept is the definition of cause and effect. As soon as you give a definition of cause and effect that doesn't include space and time, you can say whatever you need to say.
Are you doing a critique of the Christian worldview?
So I need you to give the definition of cause and effect that doesn't include space and time. And as soon as you do that, you can say whatever you need to say, and you can ask your questions.
Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Nope.
Do you want to have a conversation?
I do. And in order to do that, the thing that needs to happen right now, we can have a conversation as soon as you stop dodging.
Host, let's de-escalate just a little bit.
Absolutely. And the way that we're going to de-escalate is you're going to give a definition of cause and effect that doesn't include space and time.
You seem like you're getting upset.
Okay, so what's going to happen here, Big Flex, is I'm going to ask you one more
You're
time.
Gonna drop me and you're
yes,
gonna run
exactly.
away.
Yep. I'm going to ask you one more time. I'm going to ask you.
I want you to know that you're panicking.
I know. I'm so panicked. Everybody can tell how panicked I am. I'm going to ask you one more time for a definition of cause and effect that we can use for this conversation. If you cannot give it, then that tells everybody that you know there isn't one, and you're just too scared to admit it. So, what would be the definition of cause and effect that doesn't include space and time?
What's an internal critique?
All right. Well, this is an internal critique. Yeah, exactly, Ethan. He knew that he couldn't give the definition, and so then he tried to project and make it seem like I was the one panicking. I just want to hear the definition. Yes, I ran away. I ran away from a pointless conversation where you were clearly not going to actually engage. So, yes. Oh, I totally agree, Poopman Jones. Yeah, yep. He could have just agreed with me at the beginning of the conversation. That's what cause and effect are, and we could have been fine. Thank you. Exactly, Pokey. Hey, thank you, Poppy Loco. Yeah, I totally agree, Pokey. I mean, if he had given the definition, then he could have said whatever he had to say. We could have moved the conversation forward, no problem. That's what we call projecting. Well, good, Russell. Who the fuck wants to talk to you anyway? Everybody loves causation, but nobody's got a theory for it. Yeah. Can't prove it's not real. Well, I would just say, Ben, like, if you've got somebody who's trying to, like, say you can't prove it's not real, you can just agree. That's fine. Yeah, I can't prove it's not real. But we shouldn't believe in things just because they haven't been proven to not be real. We should believe in things only when they've been shown to be real. I think that's pretty simple. Okay. I'll just remind everybody, since we got a bunch of people here, that I do have the YouTube, youtube.com/@OgarDebates. I've got the Discord, tinyurl.com/OgarDebates. Trying to build community there. So I'd appreciate anybody who's interested in joining and being a part of that. I think that we can kind of learn and grow together and have good conversations. I also have my, ways that you can support me outside of TikTok if you're so inclined to, support via PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. Obviously not expected though, but, oh, that's funny. Okay. But thank you so much to everybody who's supporting here on TikTok. Obviously massive W to Breezy from earlier. For the big donation, but also thank you so much to Turtle on Wheels, Lem, Turtle on Wheels again, thank you. Thank you, Carl and Poppy Loco, once again for the retro headset. Thank you to Lem. Mineral Tree of Dog, glad to see you, and thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Goatman, and Bradley N, once again for the dinosaur. Thank you so much for that, sincerely. Massively appreciate it. And Macluster, thank you. There was one thing I was going to do, and I kind of forgot about it, and let me see if I can rectify that. Oh, maybe it's too late. I missed my opportunity. Oh, no. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm scrolling so far back. Nothing, really? Brutal. I missed it. Okay, fair. Oh, wait, what's that? All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure. Oh, Grace, thank you so much. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least can clearly and concisely explain your theistic position, and also that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification for your God belief. And we will bring up, looks like Micah.
What's up, bro?
Hi, Micah. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
Jesus.
Cool. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in God?
Before we start, bro, I just want to have a chill conversation, man. I'm not coming in here to embarrass you, bro.
The only way that we can do that is if we're both engaging in good faith. I promise that as long as you stay good faith, I will too. So the only thing that is needed to happen in order for us to have a great, calm, friendly, good faith, productive conversation is for you to actually engage when you're asked questions, and for you to give the arguments that you clearly and concisely.
For sure, bro.
So as long as you can do that, I think we'll be fine. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence?
So I just got to build up to it real quick. So
well, we're not going to do any preamble. Nope, we don't do that here.
Oh, Okay. I mean, you can't, because you can't really say like just a really broad thing without kind of building up to it. Like I can't just say God is real without building up to it.
Yeah, I'm asking you to just give the argument. I don't need you to build up to the argument. Just give the argument. Or if it's a piece of evidence, just present the evidence.
See, we're already kind of failing at having a
yeah, I know,
good
because you
conversation.
won't just give your argument. That's your failing, Micah. So why don't you fix it and provide the argument?
I was gonna do it, bro. Let's relax. Let's just.
I'm waiting.
Let's just have a all right. So it comes down to metaphysics.
What about metaphysics?
Metaphysical energy and dark.
What is metaphysical
dark
energy?
It's like the core essence of higher dimensional things that impact our material reality.
What is a higher dimensional thing?
They're just types of energies that allow things that would seem like magic to exist. And we don't know about that because the phone you're talking on right now is 10 years old. And
hold on, no, I'm not understanding, because you've now given a circular definition. Because when you said metaphysical energy, you said that's the core essence of higher dimensional things, which I have no idea what that means. So I asked what a higher dimensional thing is, and you said that's just a type of energy that makes things seem like magic exist. But now what you've done is you've given me the definition of metaphysical energy is just this basically it boils down to a type of energy. But I already assumed that a metaphysical energy was a type of energy. So I need you to give me a definition of metaphysical energy that's informative, so I actually know what you're talking about.
So think of it like this: in the universe we're living in right now, there's like we're in the same layer, but there are different layers.
No, just tell me what metaphysical energy is.
It's energy inside us that isn't physical. It's more. It seems it's. How do I?
Come on, Micah.
It's in different layers of dimensions, but also affects our dimension. So can you let me talk? Can you just let me talk?
I'm just waiting for an informative definition of metaphysical energy. So far, I've got energy inside us that isn't physical. It's in different layers
It
of
connects
dimensions.
all things. It connects all things.
I don't know what that. No, I don't need you to tell me what it does. I need you to tell me what the definition of it is, so I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about currently, and I'm trying to be good faith. Genuinely.
Okay, I'll tell you. It's like
okay, but if you're leaving the app to go check ChatGPT, we're not going to be able to have a conversation.
because I'm trying to give you like a quick textbook definition, like.
Okay, so just tell me. Micah, you shouldn't be using this term. Micah.
Yes, Oscar. Yes, Ogar. Yes.
You should not be using terms that you can't define. If your argument relies on terms that you can't define, I would love for you to define it.
Bro, what we're battling here when we shouldn't be battling. I just want to have a
I
cool
know, we
conversation.
don't have to. You could just give the definition and we could move on.
All right, I'll try.
So now for like the fourth time, what's the definition of metaphysical energy?
The energy and the energy that connects different material planes, also known as different dimensions. It connects the pure layer we're in right now. So if you let me explain,
what are different material planes?
4D, 5D, stuff like that.
No, I mean, this is just totally confused. If there was like if this was another dimension, I'm not going to just let you yap and gibberate. That's not going to happen here, Micah. If that's what you're hoping for, then you're in the wrong place.
Yo, Ogar, stop calling me Meek. It's pissing me off.
What? I called you Micah.
No, or Micah, whatever you're calling me.
I'm calling you Micah because that's your name, my guy.
Yeah, but your
name is Micah00340, so I'm calling you Micah.
All right, carry on.
I'm so sorry that I'm calling you by the name that you present yourself with.
Ogar.
Yes, that's me. I'm Ogar. So here's the problem.
Yes,
here's the problem. You don't know what you're talking about, and we're not going to be able to have a conversation until you figure out what you're talking about or start giving an argument or evidence that you actually understand. So those are your options. So your options right now, Micah, are you can...
I'll switch it up.
Yeah, you can switch to a different argument where you actually understand the argument, or you can go away and come back when you understand this one.
Okay, let's switch it up. So can we go into what religion actually is real quick?
We're looking for reasons to believe that a God exists.
What the fuck do you think I'm about to fucking do, you fucking mutt?
Oh, but you're so concerned about having a good faith conversation.
I just told you
Oh, I'm sorry that I had to crash out. It's not my fault. Oh, apparently it's just too much to ask a Christian to define the terms they're using. Please be good faith. Please be good faith. Oh my God. Good times. You can't even make that shit up. He's writing a comic. I don't know what that means. Oh, another one defeated by Oscar. Oscar just knocking them down one by one. Okay. So, yeah, actually, that's a good. I didn't even think about that at first, Obelisk. I do think that like going to mutt like that as an insult definitely makes me think that that's a racist, right? Like, who uses mutt as an insult other than racists? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, metaphysical energy sounds like comic book shit. That's true. I'll give you that. All right. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I'm distracted. All right. If you are, oh, you know what? I want to say thank you to everybody supporting before I move on to the next person. You guys fucking rule, and I genuinely appreciate it so much. Thank you to Macluster and Grace. Thank you so much, Eddie and Mikey. Thank you, Flarf Blarf. Love the name too. Also, appreciate you massively. Thank you for the crown. Thank you to Mr. Christ, Mickey B, and thank you so much, Lobotomized Cadavers. That looks like a band. That totally looks like a band, probably one that I would listen to. That's awesome. Thank you. Pit Pat, appreciate you as well. Okay, so if you are, oh wait, hold on. Okay. Oh, I should actually put in my notes. Probably racist. Okay. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification for your God belief. Technically, if you're not Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, that's fine, but you need to be able to give a clear, concise description of your theistic position. Hi, Toxel, how old are you?
19.
Okay, and then what's your religion?
Christianity.
Cool. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
I just want to ask you a quick question. Do you go off of science or any kind of other field?
Science is good for some things. Philosophy is good for other things.
Okay. I'm gonna go off of a scientific scenario of the Big Bang Theory, if you wouldn't mind.
What about the Big Bang?
So people say that it's the thing that started it all, but I can prove that it's not.
Yeah, no, the Big Bang is not the beginning.
Can I ask what your thought is on what's the beginning?
I don't think there is a beginning to the universe.
So then how did we get here?
Well, I got here because my parents presumably had sex.
Well, yeah. Let's say, you got here from from your parents having intercourse. How did the world get here when it first started? How did the sun start?
An accretion disk?
Any kind of disk. How did we get to a perfect? Why are you shooting me? How did we get to a perfect point to where?
I don't think there's anything perfect about the world or the universe. So asking me about how we got to perfection is a question I can't answer.
How did we get to the point where that we're the only Earth that's able to, or only planets for us to be able to live on?
How did you confirm this is the only planet we can live on?
By science, and we are not able to live on any other planet.
Yeah, what's the demonstration for that?
What do you mean?
You said that there's scientific evidence that this is the only planet that we could exist on. What's the evidence for that?
The evidence that it's either too cold for humankind.
Yeah, what's the evidence that no other planet exists that we could live on?
That we cannot see it. That's if it is.
So you're saying if we can't see something, then it must not exist? I don't think you want to say that.
I was trying to explain my point.
Okay, so then what's the evidence? I just want you to specifically say the evidence. I don't need you to go off and ramble about something else. Specifically, what is the scientific evidence that demonstrates this is the only planet we could possibly live on?
As it's the as it's the only
No, just tell me
planet
the evidence. Tell me the evidence. Like, give me the
Yeah,
name
I
of a scientific
know.
paper that concludes that.
I don't have a scientific
Okay,
paper.
so then what is the scientific evidence? What's your source for scientific evidence that this is the only planet we could possibly exist on?
Okay, then what planet are we able to exist on?
That was actually a question. I don't know if you're aware of this, but questions aren't evidence.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. So then I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to keep, here's the thing, Toxel. I'm just going to keep asking you this question over and over again until one of three things happen. Either you're going to get embarrassed, as you should be, and run away, or you're going to admit that you don't actually have evidence and will move on to something else, or you're going to provide the evidence. So until one of those three things happen, I'm just going to keep asking. What is the evidence that this is the only planet that we could live on?
Okay, as I was saying, there is no other planet that we can live on because it's one, either too cold, too hot.
What is the evidence
or,
for that? That's just the claim again,
shit,
Toxel.
I'm trying to speak.
No, I know, but you're not giving the evidence, and I will continue to interrupt you every time you talk unless you're doing one of the three things I said. So what is the evidence that this is the only planet that we could live on that doesn't just rely on you reasserting the claim again?
Okay. You know what? Then, yeah, sure. There is no evidence. Let's go
Oh,
on to another-
fantastic. So then what is the reason to think that there's a God?
Okay. For the start, how did we get here?
That's a question, not a reason to believe in a God. So what's the reason to believe in a God?
That he's the one who created the earth.
Fantastic. What's the argument or evidence that would lead me to believe that God created the earth?
Can you repeat that? You glitched out.
Yeah, I'm just asking for the argument or evidence that would lead me to believe God created the earth.
To the point that he wanted humanity.
No, the
here.
argument or evidence that God did that.
Okay. So that's to the point where in my
So what I'm asking you for is an argument or some evidence that God created the earth. We're going right back to where we were before, Toxel. You have the same three options again. What's the argument or evidence that God created the earth?
the argument is that he wanted.
Nope, that's assuming that God exists. We don't get to just assume that God exists. You need to give a demonstration that God created the earth, because that's supposed to be the reason to believe in a God. If you have to assume God exists in order to give evidence that he created the earth, then this can't be an argument for God. So if this is an argument for God, which you said it was, you will be able to provide this demonstration or this evidence or argument without having to just assume God first. So again, what is the argument or evidence that God created the earth?
Then why don't you give me your argument and we'll go off of that?
Okay, so you're agreeing that you don't have any argument or evidence that demonstrates the point that, or the claim that you
I'm
made?
not. I'm agreeing that we can go off of your argument.
Okay,
since you
so
don't
then
think
until you agree that you cannot support the claim, I'm going to keep asking. So what is the argument or evidence that God created the earth?
the argument, the evidence that God created the earth is that we are on earth. We are on earth.
How does that provide evidence that God created the earth?
Because what else would have created the
That's a question. Remember, we went over this, Toxel. Questions are
No,
not
that's not
arguments or
technically a
evidence.
question.
So what is the argument or evidence that God created the earth?
The evidence is that we are here.
How does us being here provide evidence that God created the earth?
Because there's no other way for us to be here.
That's just reasserting the claim again. How does us being here provide evidence that God created the earth?
Because there is no way.
That's just
for any
reasserting the
other
claim again, Toxel. I don't need you to reassert the claim that there's no way for us to be here other than God creating it. That's what you're supposed to be providing an argument or evidence for. So again, what is the argument or evidence that the only way for us to be here is if God created the earth?
Like, you're not giving me any room to speak.
Yeah, because you're not answering the question, and I'm going to continue. I told you this before when we were talking about the previous thing. You have three options. You can tuck tail and run away because you're embarrassed, or you can admit that you don't have an argument or evidence for this point, or you can provide the argument or evidence that demonstrates us existing is evidence for God's existence. So which of those three do you want to do?
Okay, I am trying to give you an argument. Please let me speak.
Yep, and I'm going to interrupt you as soon as I realize that you're not on topic.
Okay, I'm going to be on topic. All right. Are you ready? Are you gonna keep your mouth closed?
Notice how you're doing this when you could just be giving the argument or evidence?
The evidence that we are here, or that there is a God, is that we are here, that there is no other kind of point.
Okay, so how does us being here provide evidence for God?
To the point that there's no other kind
That's just the claim, Tuxel. The claim that you're making is that there's no other way for us to be here except God creating the earth. I don't agree, so I'm asking for the argument or evidence that supports that claim. What is the argument or evidence that the only way we could be here is if God created the earth?
the argument that there's no other thing that has the power to make us.
Yeah, what's the argument or evidence?
That is an argument.
No, it's not. It's just asserting the claim again. Here, I'll put it up on the screen, and maybe being able to have it up will help you out. Okay, so the claim.
Let's go for yours.
So no, we're not moving on until you agree that you don't actually have a reason to believe this. So the claim.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a reason to believe it. Let's go on your argument.
All right, fantastic. So, you said you're a Christian. God has a mind, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. And you would agree that minds have either changing mental states or only one unchanging mental state, right?
No.
What's the other option for a mind?
The other option for a mind is that you have your own humanity.
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
For your own thinking.
Yeah, so either you have one unchanging mental state or you have a series of changing mental states.
Okay, yeah.
Correct. Okay, fantastic. And change only occurs in time, right?
Yes.
And God, because he created the universe, which means he created time and space, he exists outside of time and space, right?
Correct.
Fantastic. So what that means, our first conclusion we can draw from those four premises is that God has only one unchanging mental state. Premise 5, acting upon one's will changes one's mental states. Do you agree?
Is this in the Bible? I don't.
No.
You said premise 5. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just giving you an argument and we're going one at a time. So that way I'm not steamrolling you. I'm not rushing the argument out so you don't understand it. I'm trying to go point by point. So my claim right now, and I'm just asking if you agree, my claim is that acting on your will requires your mental states to change.
Yes.
Fantastic. And since God's mental states can't change, that means God can't act on his will. If God can't act on his will, he can't create the universe. But if God exists, he did create the universe. Therefore, by the power of modus tollens, God does not exist.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you this. What did create the universe then?
I don't think it was created. But do you agree that God doesn't exist?
No.
Okay, then what's your response to the argument?
My response to the argument is that no matter for
which point do you disagree with? You see how where is it at? Okay, up here you've got numbers. You see how there's 1 2 3 4 and then C1 5 C2 6 7 C3. The ones that don't have C's in front of them, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, you need to disagree with one of those in order to avoid the conclusion that God doesn't exist.
Okay, I'll go with C3 then.
I said not one of the C ones, my guy.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll go with why do you have a full fucking thing? Let's go with 6.
You think that God could create the universe without acting on his will?
Yes.
I mean, I guess I don't understand what that even means. What would creating the universe be in that case?
Creating the universe would be making, you would say, the planets, the Milky Way.
Right, but that sounds like an act of, that sounds like him acting on his will. That sounds like you're saying that God has the intention, the will to create the universe and planets and stuff, and then he does it.
Okay, but God is not a living being.
I didn't say that he is, but you're describing him acting on his will. You're describing him having an intention to create planets and the universe, and then carrying out that intention.
Correct.
Right. So that's God acting on his will. So again, if God can't act on his will, he can't create the universe. That's what you just rejected, and now you're agreeing to it.
Okay.
Okay, so try a different one.
Then go with 7.
Okay, so you think that God could exist and the universe could exist, but God didn't create the universe?
Please rephrase that. You glitched out again for me.
It's your position that God...
was glitching out for me.
What?
Oh, my bad. I know it's glitching out for me.
Is it your position that God could exist and the universe could exist, but God not create the universe? It's possible for God to not be the creator of the universe?
No, it's not possible for that.
Right. So you don't want to reject 7.
Okay, you're trying to go off of what you're doing. Okay, hold on. Cool. Let's see. 4 is correct. Let's go with number 1.
The typical Christian conception of God is that he's all good, all knowing, and all powerful. Do you agree with those?
Yes.
And to be all knowing, that means God knows all things, right?
Yes.
And if God knows all things, that means he has knowledge, right?
So for that, he technically does not have knowledge, but instead he has a plan for
That
how
wasn't my
everything
question.
will turn out.
So are you saying that God doesn't actually have knowledge?
No, he doesn't have knowledge. He has a plan.
Okay, so then he doesn't know anything, because to have knowledge means to know things. If God doesn't have knowledge, then he doesn't know anything. So you're saying God doesn't know anything?
No, I never said that.
Okay, so you said to be all-knowing means God knows all things, right?
Yes.
Okay, and do you agree that knowing something is a mental state?
Yeah.
Yeah. So God knows things. Knowing things is a mental state. So that means that God has mental states. And if God has mental states, you know what that's called? That's called having a mind. And we've already determined that God has only one unchanging mental state, but he does have a mental state. So it sounds like, Toxel, that you're just trying to like reject, and you know that you can't actually reject any of them. So it doesn't seem like that's very fruitful to continue anymore. Do you have any last words before I move on?
Okay, bud.
All right, take care. All right. Fair enough, Benjamin. Oh, good times, huh? Where are we at? Okay, cool. Thank you everybody for the support. You guys are just making me feel so much love. It genuinely blows me away. Create the galaxies? I think gravity created the galaxies. Although I would say create is probably doing way more work than it should be in that phrase. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Thank you to I don't know if it's Malik or Malik. Either way, thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Janie, Lem, and Martin. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Absurd and Chumbawamba, multiple times. Thank you so much. Philosophy, Perkins, Poppy Loco. Thank you for the cake thing. I appreciate that. Thank you, Pit Pat. Also, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you to Dan Blackroyd and Absurd as well. Appreciate you guys massively for the support. I will kind of just as a reminder for everybody, I do have the YouTube trying to get, I'm not even at 300 subscribers over there. So if anybody's able to, willing to go over and subscribe to the YouTube, it's youtube.com/@OgarDebates. Eventually I'll get to 1,000 subscribers over there. I don't know when that'll be, but hopefully it'll happen. Also have a Discord. I would love to have folks join the Discord. It's an opportunity for us to build community, learn and grow together, talk about, different arguments, talk about different conversations, things that we're learning. Also just have fun. And like I said, build community. And then I do have my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App there, just in case anybody's interested in supporting in that way. Speaking of which, thank you massively to Breezy from the dono earlier. I can't believe I just said that. For the support earlier, massively appreciated. Genuinely don't know how to thank you enough, so I'll just keep saying it. But okay, if you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are an adult, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least can clearly and concisely explain your theistic position, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
What's up, brother?
Hi, Gerald. How old are you?
I'm 19.
All right, and then what God do you believe in?
Christianity.
Okay. Can you like not eat while we're talking?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
That there was a force that created all this.
And why should I believe that?
What do you think the source is?
I don't think that there's a source. So why should I believe that there is one?
So you think all this just happened randomly?
No, I didn't say that. What's the reason I should think there's a source?
Because if you think it created itself, that's still a source.
I don't think it created itself. Why should I think that there's a source?
Because if there's not a source, how do we get here?
All right, keep pushing. You'll get that shit out eventually. Like, what are we even doing? like, what are we doing? Use the source, Luke. Yeah, use the source. You can't join if you're not requesting. Yeah, thank you for the support to Bertram and Mitch Davey. Appreciate you. And genuinely thank you, everybody. Like, massively, massively appreciate everybody. Okay, if you are in the guest queue or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have you're Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least that you can clearly and concisely explain your theistic position. Also, make sure that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for a God. Well, I was going to bring you up, Micah, but if you can't even wait long enough for me to get my little spiel out, then probably not worth talking to you anyway. So yeah, if you are 18 plus and you think you have an argument or evidence, feel free to come up. I'd be happy to chat. Don't currently have anybody requesting, but would be happy to have the debate. Thank you to Loki and Absurd and DJ Randy for the support. You guys rule. Genuinely appreciate it. Oh. Damn, DJ Randy, thank you. That was nice. Thank you. Awesome. Well, like I said, currently don't have anybody requesting. Hopefully we'll get somebody up that actually wants to have the debate. As you can tell, my position is God isn't real. Oh, do I go over my fucking... okay, I'm yapping. We're doing some yap time. Okay, so I was talking about this earlier in the stream, but I'm going to yap about it again. So after the stream yesterday, I was reading Amy Karofsky's... Oh, fuck. Am I saying her name wrong? Isn't that her name? Now I'm all... Yeah, Amy Karofsky. Okay, I had it right. So Amy Karofsky, Dr. Amy Karofsky, excuse me, she has a book called A Case for Necessitarianism, and it's so fucking good. And when I was reading it last night, I found I got to a part where she gives an argument that there can be no brute contingencies, and I just thought it was so interesting because I've always kind of thought that brute contingency was weird, but never really known a reason to think that it isn't real, right? So seeing that argument was awesome. I really appreciated seeing that. It does have like what I thought was a weak premise in it initially, but after talking it over with some people, they actually were able to show me that earlier in the book, she actually provides the argument for that. So she provides this argument that if a thing is brute, then it can't be different than it is. So like if this thing is brute and its nature is contingent, then it would be possible to not do whatever things it does. But if it exists and does that thing, then it must also be in its nature to actually obtain doing that thing. And so if it's in its nature for it to obtain that it does that thing, then that means that if it doesn't do it, it's violating its nature and it's not actually what it is. So for a brute thing, it has to do what it is or it isn't what it is, or it has to do what it does or it isn't what it is. I don't know if that makes sense. So since it's since C or like the brute thing has to do what it does, then that means that its nature to do that thing must be necessary. So if a thing exists and it's brute, then doing what it does is necessary. It's necessary for it to do whatever it is that it does. Its nature can't be contingent. But then if a brute thing's nature can't be contingent, then it can't be contingent itself, because then there's nothing that grounds or provides an explanation for or reason for its ability to be different. Right? So it's not possible for a contingent thing, or excuse me, for a brute thing to be contingent. Anything that's brute must be necessary. And I just think that's a really interesting argument. I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's just something I read yesterday that I thought was awesome. And I'm really excited to get through the rest of this book. Oh, and now TikTok's going to yell at me for not being active enough. Okay. All right. So if you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about joining, please make sure that you are 18 plus, that you are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least that you can quickly and concisely explain your theistic position, and also make sure you have some argument or evidence for God. Okay, well, that was a good one.
Yo, what's up?
How old are you?
18.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
I am.
No, you're not. That was 100% a child. Am I Matt Dillahunty? No. Okay. Hello, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Sounds like you're talking through a tin can.
I'm sorry, my phone is old.
Yeah, you also sound 12. Fair enough. Yeah, it must be. Okay, well, fair enough. Am I wrong? Did it not sound like somebody talking through a tin can? Yeah, I thought it was the same kid as well. Hey, thank Bertram. Oh, that was awesome. Thank you, Bertram. And Miss Janie, thank you so much. Absurd Lem, appreciate you all for the support. Massively, massively appreciate it. Hey, thanks, TP Skeptics. I hope TP really exists. Okay, so don't currently have anybody requesting. Hey, thank you, Lou. You know I appreciate you. You're the best. Yeah, currently don't have anybody requesting. Just looking to talk to folks who are 18 plus and are Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or at least able to explain their theistic position quickly and concisely. And then also, just want to talk to people who actually have some argument or evidence for God. TikTok is so slow at doing stuff. It's really annoying. Is it just not going to work? Oh, there we go. Yeah. W. Lou and W. Ashley and W. Poopman Jones and fucking everybody. Like, you guys all rule. And I feel just so lucky to have the support from everybody. Massively appreciate it. No, I don't have the prove me wrong anymore. I don't think that it's necessary. Part of why I had to prove me wrong was that I wanted to like include or like make it more likely that people would actually give their argument or evidence, but I really don't care. If everybody just wants me to give an argument, I guess I can. Just have to try to switch it up so it doesn't get boring. What philosopher am I watching most? Oof. I don't know. I've been watching a bunch of Lance Bush's stuff in the last like week or two, because he's got such a different position on ethics from me, and he actually talks about meta ethics, which I really like. Not a lot of people talk about meta ethics. So I really like that. And because he has such a different view from me, listening to him is really challenging, and I like that. It forces me to think about whether or not my position can actually handle the critiques that he's saying about other people's positions. He is challenging. Also, though, the other thing I'll say about Lance Bush is that he gets treated really poorly by other philosophers that he disagrees with or that disagree with him. And I don't know, that bugs the shit out of me. Because I think that, philosophy is about kind of ideas clashing, right? And you should be able to do that as PhD philosophers without it being like a fight. But anyway, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus, that you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Hi, Bliss. How old are you? Hello? Hello? I don't know if that was just me or what. Hey! Thanks, Oppo. Once again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult, and you're Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, and you have some kind of argument or evidence for God. Hi, Just. How old are you? Why are you a child requesting up, and why can't I drop you? Go away. There we go. That took way too long. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, so currently nobody requesting. Hopefully we'll get some folks who actually want to have the debate. Although we have had some really good conversations tonight. I feel like it's gone really well. Some not so good ones, but we've actually, I think, had some decent conversations tonight. Yeah, like Lou said, claim the TikTok points. I have no idea what that means, but apparently the algorithm likes it. Lou, can you tell us what it means to claim the TikTok points? I have no idea what you're talking about. As you guys will notice, I don't know shit about TikTok. Up near the heart me if you sent one. Click the heart icon near the PFP. Okay. Yeah, everybody do that. I don't know, Oppo. Stream video games? No, I would never stream video games because I don't play video games. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, so everybody claim your points then. Thanks, Just Gaming. Yeah, so send a heart me, and then, I mean, when I play games, it's like, Mega Man X, Mega Man X2 is the game I've been playing most. No, I've literally never played Minecraft before. Not for a single second. I've never played Minecraft. I've never played, what's that other one? Fortnite. The most I've ever played, what's that other one? Call of Duty. I played that with my nephew, my teenage nephew. He'll ask me to play that when I'm hanging out at their house. Hey, thanks, Hop Count. That's fucking awesome. Civilization? No, I've never played that either. I don't play video games. I'm not a video game person. I've heard of Animal Crossing. I know a lot of people play that. I've played some Mario games before. Call of Duty and Poop Town. I like it. Stardew Valley. I've heard of that one too. Oh, I played Oregon Trail way back in the day. I think I played Super Smash Bros. Back when it came out. I don't even know. Wait. Hold on, Dagobah Dave. I'm going to figure out what that is. Battlegrounds? Is it something Battlegrounds? Fuck. Player Underground Battlegrounds? That doesn't seem right. I don't know what that is, Dave. I'm sorry. I know I've heard of that before, but I also don't. I assume it's like some like shooting game, like a FPS or something. I don't fucking know. I'm too fucking old for this shit. Okay, well, here's the deal, y'all. Somebody mentioned that over on Just Gaming. Somebody mentioned that over on YouTube, and I don't know what it is. I was told I was close. Okay, so yeah, I think we're not getting any requests, so I think we're going to just go ahead and say that it's been a successful stream and call it for the night. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Thank you, Worth and Polymagic and Hopcount and Just Gaming and Oppo for sending support, and everybody else who did. Appreciate you massively. I am going to go ahead and call it, and before I end the stream, I always like to remind everybody that tomorrow is not guaranteed. You don't know how many opportunities you have left to let your family and friends know how important they are to you, so do not miss those opportunities, okay? I know that